Part 174. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 1732. The two people sat there, looking at each other. After a while, Xiaofang stood up, sat back next to Zhang Chen, held his hand, and said softly, "Sorry." Zhang Chen shook his head, "It's nothing. Everything you said is true. If you really go on, you may not be able to turn back. If you implement it and then withdraw, then everyone will be offended." "Dear, is your purpose to increase their income?" Xiaofang asked. "Zhang Chen is right." Zhang Chen pushed the coffee table away with his feet, then slid down and sat on the floor. He leaned back and leaned against Xiaofang. Xiaofang put her hands into his hair and rubbed it gently. "There is still a way to create a secret account," Xiaofang said. "This way you can achieve your goal without causing negative impacts." "Secret account, what do you mean?" Zhang Chen asked. "As long as this model remains unchanged, according to this model, this part of the money is set aside and distributed to everyone on the books, but no actual distribution is made, let alone profit distribution. At the end of each year, only a proportional portion will be withdrawn from their respective accounts and given to them as bonuses. Since we still have to send it to them, why do we have to go through such a circle?" Zhang Chen was puzzled. "The nature is different," Xiaofang said. "This is a bonus, which is only related to the company's efficiency and everyone's performance. It is not directly linked to profit, so that everyone's understanding will not be biased, and it won't happen as I said before, where everyone is fixated on the company's profits and will do whatever it takes to maximize profits." "I understand," Zhang Chen nodded, "but why not give them all as bonuses, but in proportion?" "Dear, no one can guarantee that the company's profits will grow positively every year. If the investment is large or the operation suffers losses, there may even be zero growth or negative growth. However, people's expectations are one way. If he gets 100,000 yuan this year, he hopes it will be 110,000 yuan next year, at least not less than 100,000 yuan. If it is 90,000 yuan, he will be dissatisfied. When it was first implemented, it was appropriately low, but it is much higher than before. Everyone is very happy, but you can't raise it too much all at once just to make everyone happy. This will amplify people's expectations and desires. The money is not less, it is still in his own account, but he doesn't know that this is actually a fund created for him to ensure that his income will not decrease every year in the future. This is in line with people's expectations and will play a positive role." "I understand, you are still thoughtful," Zhang Chen said with a smile. Xiaofang said, "I deal with money. Money is a double-edged sword. It can hurt others and yourself. Of course, it can also be a handy tool that can help you settle many things and make more money. Do you know when people are most naked? That is when they are in front of money. Money not only exposes people's true appearance, but also stimulates people's desires. It can even alienate a person to a certain extent, so it must be very careful." Zhang Chen leaned his head back and nudged Xiaofang to express his understanding. Xiaofang kissed him on the top of his head and said to him, "Since it is a secret account, only you must know about this matter in the company. Zhao Jingjing can set up a separate account for this part of the money, but how to distribute the money in the account or even how to distribute it can only be done by yourself. Be careful. Of course, when the time comes, I will arrange for someone to help you with transfers, payments, and tax deductions. This matter cannot be done by the company's financial center. Otherwise, if one person knows about it, everyone in the company will know about it. Everyone is too sensitive to this matter. There is no airtight wall. The most fearful thing is that even good intentions can be ignored. He did something bad." Zhang Chen said, "Yes, I will just listen to your arrangements." "There's one more thing," Xiaofang said. "What's the matter?" Zhang Chen asked. "Can I not tell my parents about my pregnancy for now?" If I tell them? Zhang Chen laughed, I understand, then don't think about peace and quiet. The two old ladies will definitely keep an eye on you from all directions. Don't even think about having dinner out, not even Chinese food. They will give it to you every day, a nutritious lunch with nutritious snacks in between. Yes, yes, Yao Fen told me that she was pregnant. As a result, the two old ladies went to her company every day, and everyone in their company knew them, Xiao Fang said. When the time comes, I estimate that even if you go to Shanghai, they will follow you. Oh my God, Xiao Fang shouted. It's no use crying to the sky. Zhang Chen remembered and kept laughing. Xiao Fang used her palm to cut the back of his neck and asked, say it quickly, why are you laughing? I remembered that your sister gave birth to Zhang Xiangbei and went to my house in Yongcheng for confinement. Do you know what my mother did for her every day? Do what? The sweet crucian carp and pig's trotters are said to induce lactation, but I have to watch her eat them. Omega, I don't want to live anymore. Xiao Fang covered her face with her hands and shouted, now my mother is also included. And they are two old ladies who were trained by TV health programs and the nutritional guide for pregnant women in newspapers. Zhang Chen gloated and smiled. They will also say that I am an advanced maternal age, me, it is a completely miserable world. Xiao Fang put her chin on Zhang Chen's head and shook his head back and forth, my dear, you must save me. Zhang Chen said okay, then we won't tell them for the time being until we can no longer hide it. Thank you, Xiao Fang hugged Zhang Chen's neck from behind, tilted her head, kissed Zhang Chen on the cheek, and shouted. However, you have to promise me that you will take good care of yourself, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Fang nodded yes. Don't be too tired. Okay, I promise to do it, not only for you, but also for this little guy. Xiao Fang thought about it, and said with a bitter face, but, my dear, the day has come when I can no longer hide it. They will definitely get furious and thunderous. When the time comes, they will say that I think they are troublesome and I will not let you tell them. If they are angry, just come at me, Zhang Chen said. Okay, you are really a good man who is brave enough to do what is right. Xiao Fang giggled, but I guess by that time, they will only be angry for 5 minutes, and then they will be happy. Zhang Chen thought for a moment and realized that this was really the case. Zhang Chen laughed loudly and said, it seems that you are the best. You know them well. Of course, Xiao Fang said proudly. When she was with Tan Shahen, Xiao Fang couldn't help but told Tan Shahen about her pregnancy. Tan Shahen looked at her and said, you really cut corners, didn't even hold a wedding, and got pregnant directly. Xiao Fang giggled, what kind of wedding do you want? Are you still hiding the pregnancy from some old people? Tan Shahen asked. Sister Shahen, how do you know? Xiao Fang was surprised. Tan Shahen snorted, if they knew, would the world still be so peaceful? Will the Meisi River be so quiet? Xiao Fang chuckled, it's true, we are worried about this, so we won't tell them for the time being. Tan Shahen held Xiao Fang's hand and said to her, it's okay if you don't want to accept their care, but you can't refuse mine. I am a mother after all, and you are not allowed to be rough. Xiao Fang giggled, you won't even let me wash the dishes. I accept that. I hate washing dishes. It's a beautiful thought, this is just one of them. Okay, I will listen to you. Xiao Fang hugged Tan Shahen and said. Tan Shahen first moved Lao Tan's wicker chair from home and moved it to Xiao Fang's private room at the Pillow Tea House. She told Xiao Fang that pregnant women should not sit on anything too soft when sitting on this wicker chair for work. Xiao Fang agreed, moved the sofa, and sat on the wicker chair. Then, Tan Shahen and Xiao Fang said, drink less tea, drink less coffee, and, by the way, the most important thing is to eat less spicy food. Xiao Fang wanted to say something, but Tan Shahen pointed at her and said, no refutation is allowed. Xiao Fang flattened her mouth and nodded. Tan Shahan then wrote out the week's recipes and told Zhang Chen, if I have time, I will buy it. If I don't have time, you can just buy it this way. Do you hear me? Also, let's not eat spicy food next time, lest Xiaofang would look at it with greedy eyes and feel itchy. Zhang Chen smiled and said, that's so long-winded, Tan Shahan, there's not much difference between you and those two old ladies. Xiaofang giggled beside her, Sister Shahan, when Nanan gets pregnant, will you? When your daughter gets pregnant, you will do the same. Tan Shahan knew what Xiaofang wanted to say and rolled her eyes at her. Xiaofang said oh and made a face at Zhang Chen. Next, not only dinner, but also Chinese food, Xiaofang stopped eating from the restaurant. Instead, Zhang Chen cooked it for Xiaofang at Tan Shahan's house according to the recipe written by Tan Shahan. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Chen's busy figure and said apologetically, my dear, you have to run around every day, and you have to go to work in pieces. What does it matter? Anyway, I don't have to clock in or ask for leave from anyone, Zhang Chen said, either, shall I hand you over to two old ladies? No, 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 Xiaofang was shocked and shouted, I'd better wrong you. Zhang Chen laughed loudly. Tan Shahan organized the guest room at home. She asked Xiaofang to take a nap after lunch every day. Tan Shahan said to Xiaofang, you have to know that what you are eating is for two people, what you are drinking is for two people, and what you are sleeping is for two people. Xiaofang thought about it for a long time, but she still couldn't figure it out. It was easy to understand how to eat and drink. How could she sleep in the same room as two people? How could she sleep in the same room as two people? Xiaofang asked Tan Shahan, and Tan Shahan said to her, you don't need to understand, just do it. Thank you to Piao Ling Yi Mayfly, Quadratic VC, 1 up and down 2 fishes, and the rewards at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for the chair in the world, a floating ephemera, W is your destiny W, specially for Cao Xiaoman, look at the mountains and rivers, and how, De Ji Lao, Gongzimian Z, Yuan Xiang, Zongkai 727, forget your password and come back, monthly tickets for Huaxin Yongshao, book friends 0910261531555820, book friends 201808241246544421, Huanyu Len Muo. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1733. Xiaofang was sitting in the private room of the Pillow Tea House. Someone knocked on the door and Xiaofang said come in. The door opened a crack and Wu Huan's head was inserted. Wu Huan asked, boss, do you have time now? What's the matter? Xiaofang asked. I would like to report to you some activities of our women's street, Wu Huan said. Xiaofang waved her hand and motioned for her to come in. The door crack opened wide and Wu Huan walked in. Xiaofang motioned for her to sit opposite and said to her, pour the tea yourself. I don't drink tea, I drink water. Wu Huan took out a bottle of Nongfu Spring from his bag and placed it on the table. Wu Huan's face was red and there were fine beads of sweat on his forehead. He had obviously just returned from outside. Xiaofang asked. Where are you from? Half an acre of land. Xiaofang asked curiously, why are you going to the half-acre field? Let's talk business, Wu Huan said. Seeing Xiaofang's confused face, Wu Huan quickly explained to her. Wu Huan told Xiaofang that she was going to hold a fashion show in the women's street and the clothes would be the half-acre field clothes designed by Ji Ling and others. Clicking on each set of clothing in the show will link you to the half-acre field stores on Doubai.com and Amazon. Xiaofang's eyes lit up and she thought this was really a good idea. However, Mr. Zhang said that it should not be called a fashion show, but a clothing show, Wu Huan said. One word difference. What's the difference? Xiaofang asked. The difference is, Mr. Zhang said, a fashion show has more elements. It conveys a fashion trend or aesthetic tendency and is forward-looking, while a fashion show is very realistic. It is the moment, it is the current season. They are selling them now, and everyone is buying what they are wearing. Including models, Mr. Zhang also suggested not to choose the kind of tall and big professional models, but to choose someone like you, the boss, who has an average figure. No, not an average figure. Boss, you have a very good figure, but an average height. I know, she's the girl next door, right? Xiaofang asked. Wu Huan is right, it is also the largest number of registered members of our women's street. When these members go online and see that models with similar body shapes look so good on them, they will click on it immediately and place an order. This is a good idea. Have you guys discussed it? Xiaofang asked. Wu Huan nodded and said, yes, it has been decided. It will start next Wednesday and hold 3 consecutive games, and... Wu Huan looked at Xiaofang and kept laughing. Xiaofang asked, and what? Su Qiaoxin and Xiaoli also promised me that if customers who are diverted from Our Lady's Street to their Daobao store place an order, we can get a 10% share. Wu Huan said, it seems that we also there will be money coming in. Sorry, boss. Sorry for what? Don't you want me to make money? It seems that I will make money accidentally this time, Wu Huan said with some pride. Xiaofang didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She said, okay, you are great, Wu Huan, let me correct you. I don't object to you making money while increasing traffic, okay. But you still have to focus on traffic. Wu Huan said, okay, I understand, boss. By the way, when did you start discussing what you just mentioned? Xiaofang asked. 3 days ago, Wu Huan said. Xiaofang became curious and asked, Mr. Zhang also knows. Of course I know. Su Qiaoxin, Xiaoli, and Ji Ling and I were talking in Mr. Zhang's office. Mr. Zhang was listening and he even helped come up with ideas. How unreasonable, Xiaofang scolded, you all know that I am the last one to know. Who, actually didn't reveal a word at home. Calm down, boss, this makes sense, Wu Huan said with a smile. What's the reason? Xiaofang asked. Mr. Zhang said that this is a purely commercial negotiation and a purely commercial activity. Mr. Zhang will not tell you before it is confirmed, just because he doesn't want you to think that they are here because of your factor. Xiaoli and Li Wei both agreed to the share and calculated the share ratio. They felt that they still had a lot of profit, so they decided to do it, Wu Huan explained. Xiaofang nodded, that's pretty much it. The reason is established and it makes sense. Okay, I'll spare him and I'll spare you. Thank you for not killing me. This is also an attempt for us, Wu Huangong said. If it succeeds, we can work with many brands, including clothing, cosmetics, shoes, hats, jewelry, and even healthcare products. When discussing cooperation, we will operate according to this model. Xiaofang nodded, yes, it seems that you have found your profit model. Yes, I was thinking that we need to distance ourselves from Daibao and JD.com. They display pictures and focus entirely on selling goods. We can further emphasize the characteristics of our community and add a lot of videos. Content, to promote more information to our members, which is also in line with the purpose of our website. I have also contacted Ween Wen, and she will help us contact some celebrities. I will contact some brands here, and the celebrities will wear and use the products of these brands in the videos. Let everyone see. The appearance fees of the celebrities will be split by these brands, they would have to advertise, which should be more effective than advertising. Such an event will definitely attract many fans of celebrities. This can be said to be a win-win cooperation model for all 3 parties. The celebrities earn appearance fees, the brand expands its popularity and increases sales, and we get more benefits. A lot of traffic. Wu Huan kept talking, and Xiaofang kept nodding. She felt that she was going to be impressed by this girl. She didn't expect that there were so many things in her mind. No wonder she would go from being a deliveryman to being a delivery boy. Be promoted step by step. Wu Huan saw Xiaofang staring at her and listening to what she said. Xiaofang remained silent. Wu Huan felt a little nervous and asked, "Boss, is it okay?" "Okay, do you have any other ideas?" Xiaofang asked. "I also want to open a live broadcast classroom," Wu Huan said. "Live broadcast classroom?" "Yes, build a women's street community school and open various live streaming classes for women to attract them to come and watch. I would like to invite makeup artists and designers to give online lectures, tell everyone how to put on makeup, how to dress, and answer everyone's questions online. As before, we will implant some brand products when they teach, so the fees for their lectures will be paid by these brands," Wu Huan and Xiaofang said. "You are simply a king of ideas," Xiaofang admired sincerely. "If these models are successful, these brands will not refuse your request for a share." "Yes, but I won't make such a request at the beginning. From the beginning, we want traffic and they want sales. When the sales increase, I will raise it with them," Wu Huan said. "Okay, I agree with you to play the long game to catch the big fish," Xiaofang smiled. "By the way, when it comes to dressing up, you can talk to Mr. Zhang. He has experience in this area and has experience in appearing on TV. Well known, you tell him, purely friendly sponsorship, no lecture fees, just say what I say." "Okay, the boss has taken action and made the final decision. What else can we say?" Wu Huan chuckled. "I'll go see Mr. Zhang in the afternoon." In the afternoon, Zhang Chen called Xiaofang and asked her, "You sold me like this?" "Yes," Xiaofang said. "You didn't say hello to me first," Zhang Chen asked. "We had dinner together at noon. You didn't say hello to me about the fashion show, and I didn't fight you either." Xiaofang shook her head and said, "We are even." "All right." Zhang Chen said that Xiaofang heard the laughter of Wu Huan, Ji Yiling, and Su Qiaxin on the phone. Tuk tuk tuk. Someone knocked on the door and Xiaofang said, "Please come in." Xiao came in. Xiao and Xiaofang said, "The people from Hengli Electronics are here again." Xiaofang said yes. Xiaofang stood up and followed Xiao out. When they arrived in the lobby outside, they saw Mr. Li from Hengli Electronics, their financial director, and Vice President Xiao, sitting on a table by the window. Table. Xiaofang walked over, and the three people on the other side stood up quickly. Xiaofang shook hands with them one by one, and then sat down. Mr. Li said to Xiaofang, "Last time you said you wanted to know more about our financial situation, so I brought our financial director here." Xiaofang said yes. The financial director took out a stack of information and gave it to Xiaofang and said to her, "These are our continuous statements for the past 3 months, as well as the statements for December last year and the year before last, and the audit report just done this year." Xiaofang waved her hand, "I don't need to read this. We are not a bank. Only banks will ask for your 3 consecutive months of statements and 2 years of annual reports. By the way, are you still talking about other financing?" "No, no," Vice President Xiao said. Xiaofang smiled, "If we didn't talk about financing, why would you want to make an audit report? Without this demand, who would waste that money?" Vice President Xiao blushed, and Mr. Li and the financial director also looked a little embarrassed. Xiaofang said, "It doesn't matter. Financing is a normal behavior of a company. There is nothing wrong with it. However, your financing was probably not negotiated, right?" "Boss, how do you know?" Mr. Li said. "It's really like this. We have been busy for more than a month, asking us to provide this and that. In the end, those people are gone. Have you ever been defrauded of a small amount of money and asked for a deposit or deposit for travel expenses or something?" Xiaofang asked. Seeing that the other party was a little flustered, Xiaofang knew in her heart that she must have it. Xiaofang said, just think of it as paying the tuition. I just can't figure it out. Since they have no money, why do they ask us if we want this or that? Mr. Li felt a little unhappy and couldn't help but ask. Let them appear very formal. The more formal they are, the more you will trust them. Otherwise, why would you pay? Xiaofang smiled, it's not bad. Some people will ask you to produce an evaluation report, and the evaluation unit is specified, the appraisal fee is prohibitively expensive. You mean, they are colluding with the appraisal company? Mr. Li asked. Xiaofang is right, when your evaluation report comes out, they will pretend to review it for a while, and then reject your project. They have not charged you a penny, and you have no way to find it. However, the evaluation company does not care about the evaluation. The fee is high or low, and it is reasonable to charge a fee after the evaluation report is issued. Mr. Li sighed, I didn't expect there to be so many tricks in this. The financial director couldn't help it and asked, why don't you want to read the financial report? Xiaofang nodded and said, it's not surprising. Financial statements and audit reports are all made by people. You can have whatever data you want. If anyone really has money and wants to give it to you, he can do you believe these superficial things? Let me say it again, we are not a bank. Banks who want these are actually avoiding their risks. That is to say, if something goes wrong with this loan, as long as the procedures are complete, the loan officer and the person who approves it don't have that much personal responsibility. It's not that they really believe in the authenticity of these things, otherwise they would be too stupid. What Xiaofang didn't tell them was that after their last visit, Xiaofang sent Xiao and the others to Ningbo. Through their relationships with banks, taxation, and government departments, they got a thorough understanding of Hengli electronics and mastered it. The most authentic information, otherwise Xiaofang wouldn't have to talk to them a second time. Thank you Quadratic VC and Winsonliu for the reward. Thank you to Book Friends 201708182135179119, QTDJB, Gongzimayanzi, Xiaoyong 2005, and Fanl for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1734. Mr. Li said, Boss. Xiaofang quickly raised her hand and said, Mr. Li, you should call me Xiaofang. They call me boss when they are little kids. Mr. Li laughed and said, okay, Xiaofang, do you think there is any possibility for us to cooperate? Whether you are raising funds this time or finding someone to cooperate with, the main purpose is to acquire the German PAG company. They are your biggest competitors. After acquiring them, you can become a global automotive engine turbocharger. The largest supplier of gas systems and rear-view mirror assemblies, right? Xiaofang asked. Mr. Li was right, otherwise, we would have to fight price wars with them abroad, and they would constantly complain about us and initiate anti-dumping investigations against us, which would be very troublesome. After the acquisition, our main purpose is to take advantage of their technology has improved the quality of our products and further established our leading position in the country. They also have sales channels in Europe to expand our product coverage, Vice President Xiao said from the side. The net worth of your company is RMB 1.63 billion. If we cooperate and our company holds 30% of the shares, we will need to invest RMB 489 million. But with this money, we can acquire the German PAG company. It's still not enough. I know their asking price is 11.5 billion euros, right? Xiaofang looked at the other party and said. We still have more than 1.2 billion in cash on our account, which is enough, said the financial director of Hengli Electronics. In this case, your liquidity will be very tight. How to solve it? Xiaofang asked. We can think of other ways, such as seeking financing from banks, the financial director said. Domestic bank financing requires mortgages, and the collateral you can mortgage, such as land, factories, and office buildings, have all been mortgaged. After the acquisition of the German PAG company, a large part of the assets are abroad. Domestic banks will not accept the mortgage of overseas assets. Of course, you can also conduct overseas financing, but this is time-consuming. It will be short, and what I'm worried about is that your liquidity will dry up before the financing is successful. Xiaofang paused and continued, in running a business, it is definitely not possible to take one step at a time. This will make you very passive. You need to be prepared for the next 3 steps, but now it seems that you are not prepared at all. Including after the merger of 2 companies, there is still a running-in period, which is a very labor and financial consuming process, and it is not that simple. After Xiaofang said this, the 3 people on the other side were silent. They had to admit that what Xiaofang said was right. After acquiring the German PAG company, they would definitely be very nervous financially, but today, no matter acquisitions, especially when PAG is acquired by other domestic competitors, will make them very passive and even their current industry status will be shaken. Xiaofang asked, by the way, have you ever planned to go public? Of course we have, said Mr. Li, but we are a private enterprise. As you know, it is not our turn to be listed in China. We don't know much about listing in Hong Kong. Xiaofang introduced them to Shuanghui International's listing model in Hong Kong and asked, can you accept this method? Of course, Mr. Li said. Xiaofang nodded. Well, to make a long story short, I am very interested in your company. After you were here last time, to be honest, we have done due diligence on your company and management team. I can cooperate with you and invest 3% of the shares. 10 however, we will only serve as financial investors and will not interfere with your business activities. At the same time, in order to solve your funding problem, I can lend you another billion yuan as a shareholder loan to help you complete the acquisition of the German PAG company. This loan can be used after the company is listed in the future and the funds are raised. Can you give it back to us? Xiaofang spoke slowly, and the 3 people on the other side were a little dumbfounded. They didn't believe that such a good thing could happen. Don't be surprised. Since it's cooperation, your difficulties will also be our difficulties. I don't want to see you stuck in a dilemma. If that happens, the company's development strategy will definitely be hindered, so I propose to lend money to you. Xiaofang said. Mr. Li quickly said thank you, thank you. If you agree, you can sign the equity transfer agreement now, and we will transfer the 489 million yuan to you. Xiao and our company's legal affairs will go to Ningbo with you to go through the industrial and commercial change procedures. Once the procedures are completed, we can immediately sign a shareholder loan agreement and transfer a billion yuan loan to you. Mr. Li, do you think this is okay? Mr. Li said okay as if he was just waking up from a dream. If so, of course it would be great. Xiaofang and Xiao said, okay, that's it, Xiao, you take Mr. Li and the others to your office. Xiao said yes. Boss, oh no, Xiaofang, let's have dinner together tonight, Mr. Li said. Xiaofang smiled, there is plenty of time after eating, so let's do things first. After signing the equity transfer agreement, Xiao and the company's legal staff who came from Shanghai went to Ningbo with Mr. Li and the others that day. When it was time for dinner, Xiaofang went to Tan Shahan's house and was surprised to see Lu Qing and Tan Shahan sitting on the sofa, and Zhang Chen cooking in the kitchen. Xiaofang shouted, Lu Qing, why are you here? Lu Qing smiled and said, I just arrived and met Sister Shahan in Brother Zhang's office, so we came over to have a meal with her. Are you going to make a movie this time? Or are you visiting relatives? Xiaofang asked. What was a little strange in her heart was that Paris, 1910–1940 at the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery had already been filmed, and the expansion project of the oil painting gallery had not yet been completed. Picasso, their paintings haven't been exhibited yet. Lu Qing shouldn't have anything to take pictures of when she comes to Hangzhou. Besides, haven't they just been to Europe? None of them. Lu Qing smiled reluctantly. Tan Shahen and Xiaofang looked at each other. They both felt that Lu Qing was a little strange today, but they couldn't guess why. Zhang Chen was also very agile in cooking. He quickly prepared a table of dishes and called them over. Tan Shahen and Lu Qing said, "You're lucky. You can still eat the food now. You would definitely not be able to eat the food the three of us ate together in the past." "Why?" Lu Qing asked. "Spicy, abnormally spicy," Xiaofang said. "Why isn't it spicy now?" Lu Qing asked, surprised. Tan Shahen nuzzled at Xiaofang, and Xiaofang blushed. She said, "Actually, I still want to eat it, but these two overlords won't let me eat it." Lu Qing understood and asked, "Sister Xiaofang, are you pregnant?" Xiaofang nodded, and Lu Qing said, "Congratulations to you, congratulations to Sister Xiaofang, and congratulations to Brother Zhang." Zhang Chen and Xiaofang quickly said thank you. Everyone started eating. Lu Qing didn't say much except that she praised Zhang Chen's delicious food. Tan Shahen asked, "Lu Qing, are you worried about something? I see you are unhappy." Xiaofang held Lu Qing's hand and said to her, "Yes, Lu Qing, if anything happens to you, just tell us." Lu Qing sighed, looked at Zhang Chen and said, "Brother Zhang, there may be trouble with the film we went to Europe to shoot this time." Zhang Chen asked, "What's wrong?" "Taili asked for changes, but I don't agree. I am determined not to change. Now I am stuck here," Lu Qing said. Zhang Chen felt strange. When they went to Europe this time, they visited several major museums and art galleries, as well as the former residences of some famous painters. Because many of the painters' representative works were permanently exhibited in their former residences, they removed "I haven't been to any of these places, and I haven't photographed anything else." In the past, when filming a man's history of oil painting, Zhang Chen made two changes. One was for the Scar art issue. The studio said it should be changed, but in the end, the superiors spoke and let it go. Another time, it was about the performance art exhibition in Beijing. The content had been adjusted, but Zhang Chen really couldn't think of anything they could change about the things they went to Europe to shoot this time. Either Delacroix's Liberty leading the people could not be filmed during France's July Revolution, Zhang Chen asked. Lu Qing shook her head. "What is that?" Zhang Chen was confused. "I'm embarrassed to say such a shameful thing," Lu Qing sighed and said, "The Statue of David, Angel's Fountain and Botticelli's The Birth of Venus are all make a mosaic." "I'll go," Zhang Chen cursed, "is there such a thing?" Tan Shahen and Xiaofang were also surprised. These sculptures and oil paintings can be said to be household names. Of course they also knew that they all had to be mosaic. What was this? That's right. If this kind of scene is broadcast, won't it become a joke at home and abroad? Lu Qing smiled bitterly. "I told them that they will definitely not fight. If they want to fight, they will take off my name as the producer. I can't afford this shame." "Remove it too, I can't afford to lose face," Zhang Chen said. "This is not a mosaic, it is a blasphemy against art." "If you take this away too, do you still have this film?" Tan Shahen asked. "I went home and told my dad about it, and he also thought it was ridiculous," Lu Qing said, "but there was nothing I could do, and my dad was not in charge of the station." Zhang Chen nodded, "Yes, the old leader would not do anything like mosaic on artworks." Zhang Chen thought to himself as he spoke, even if he told Li Yong this matter, Li Yong would definitely find it ridiculous, but someone still made such a ridiculous decision. "In the end, I guess I will still be mosaicked and broadcast again, Brother Zhang, so I want to say hello to you first. I really can't decide on this matter, Lu Qing said sadly. Zhang Chen nodded and said he understood. However, when I went there, he remembered that on the TV screen in the future, he was standing in front of the statue of David at the Academy of Fine Arts in Florence. When he was talking, there was a mosaic of David behind him. This picture was too terrifying. Zhang Chen couldn't bear it. He couldn't help but shook his head. I don't want to work on the stage anymore, Lu Qing said. Brother Zhang, let me come to your place and be your assistant, is that okay? Lu Qing really didn't want to work in tele anymore, and she didn't want to work in other media anymore. She was still working like a fool, so she might as well go to a company to relax, but she knew that if she told her father that she didn't want to work in tele, if she wants to go to a company, her father will definitely object. Lu Qing thought about it and thought that she might just go to Zhang Chen's company. His father would not object. His father believed that Zhang Chen would not take advantage of her and he had limits on what he could do. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Are you kidding me? The temple here is small. Really, Brother Zhang, I really don't want to continue working in the station. It's boring," Lu Qing said. "Please take me in." Zhang Chen, Xiaofang, and Tan Shehen realized that Lu Qing was not joking, she was telling the truth. Before Zhang Chen said anything, Xiaofang spoke. "Lu Qing, come help me and be my assistant. I need you who have seen the world. The ones I'm recruiting now are too young. Besides, you won't learn anything from him, so you'd better come and help. I will teach you everything I know, and when you are capable, you can start your own business." "Really, Sister Xiaofang?" Lu Qing asked. Xiaofang nodded. "I also think it would be better for you to go to Xiaofang's place," Tan Shehen and Lu Qing said. Lu Qing laughed. She also felt that it would be best if she could go to Xiaofang's place. Xiaofang was Zhang Chen's wife. She told her father that her father would feel relieved if she went to Zhang Chen's wife's company. The key thing is that Xiaofang's company is in Shanghai, not Hangzhou, and will not have anything to do with Lu Qing's old departments in Hangzhou. It is easier to persuade Lu Changcheng to agree. Lu Qing said, "Yes, Sister Xiaofang, don't go back on your word. I will go to Beijing and convince my father. Then I will resign in Tali and come and have sex with Sister Xiaofang." Tan Shehen smiled and said, "Okay, let's have a drink. Thank you for the reward for being third from top to bottom, and having two fishes one above the other at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Shijiaz Wang Jiaozi, the wind in my eyes, Win San Liu, take a look, thunder at dusk, 8 Liang, and Hao, Lingzi in the lake, Lao Shenzi Sang, Tony Qi, Major 7, Book Friends 1611222135017999, Tamagotchi, Standby Time, Dong Long Dong, Crush Killer VIP, Looking for Plum Blossoms, Everlasting A, Book Friends 202009031727593111, Huan You Cold Eyes, My Heart Falls for You, Ming Xin, Jiju, Hu, The Sky is Wei Wei, Frivolous Freedom, After the Rain, The Sky is Sunny, Romantic Sakura Chin. Flipping the Book, Monthly Pass of Quadratic VC. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1735. The fashion show in Ladies Street was a great success. 3 half-acre field summer clothing exhibitions were held in 3 days, attracting a total of more than 170 million clicks. In terms of profit sharing, Wu Huan and the others started from half-acre field Tian received more than 420,000. Wu was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. She said to Xiaofang, "Boss, I can't even bear to spend this money. It's worthless." Xiaofang scolded. Wu Huan chuckled, "I just have no future. How can our small family compare with yours? In my opinion, this means we have made a huge sum of money." Xiaofang smiled and shook her head. Next, Wu Huan began to do celebrity live broadcasts. Zhang Chen, Lao Tang, and Ayung's Furkatang were all sponsors. Schools in the community also started, and Zhang Chen was invited to appear on the screen to teach female friends across the country how they dress. Lu Qing resigned. One person's history of oil painting has been aired, and painting Zhang Chen did not continue filming. The film they filmed in Europe was indeed as expected by Lu Qing, and was aired after Lu Qing left. Come on, Zhang Chen was disgusted when he saw the mosaic on the screen. When Lu Qing arrived at Xiaofang's company, her first task was to assist Xiaofang and Lin Shuwen in expanding the LinkedIn foreign language school nationwide. Lu Qing saw Zhang Chen's video on Women's Street and said to him, "You are really a friend of women across the country." Zhang Chen said angrily, "Ask your boss." Xiaofang was laughing beside her. Each novel and eye-catching activity has gathered popularity, and the Women's Street has been advancing at an average rate of 460,000 registered members every day. Xiaofang and Wu Huan said. Yes, it won't take long for you to complete the task of 100 million members. Time passed quickly, and it was July in the blink of an eye. Zhang Xiangbei came back from the United States. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang picked him up at Pudong Airport. Zhang Xiangbei called Xiaofang mom on the phone and during the video chat. She shouted very diligently, and when she saw the real person, she still said, "And Xiaofang." After shouting, he felt embarrassed and said, I'm sorry, I'm used to shouting." Xiaofang smiled and said, "It doesn't matter, I'm your aunt too, whatever you call me is right." Yes, just like the person driving the car, he is both Lao Zhang and Dad Zhang Xiangbei said, and Xiaofang giggled. In the past few months, Zhang Chen has accomplished several major things. The first is that the expansion project of the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery has been completed. The paintings of Picasso, Matisse, Pissarro, and others have begun to be displayed in the Riverside Oil Painting Gallery. Riverside Oil Painting Gallery is permanently on display to the public. This naturally caused a sensation. You must know that there is no art museum in the country that has so many world-famous paintings. These newly discovered paintings have also attracted the attention of overseas media, and domestic media are also flocking to it. Even Lu Qing has already not at CCTV, CCTV still went through Lu Qing, who had to convince Zhang Chen to do a special feature. Zhang Chen couldn't refuse, so he had no choice but to appear on the screen again after being away from the screen for several months. The second thing is that their factory in the Sky City e-commerce park was completed and put into use. Not only did Su Qiaxin and Xiaoli move their entire sales center there, but also Zhang Chen, Zhao Jingjing, and Ji Yiling all moved there. In the past, the M-zone upstairs was vacated. The third thing happened immediately after the second. The upstairs of the M-zone was vacated, the M-zone wholesale center in the logistics space was opened, and the reconstruction of the M-zone began. At the same time, Xiaofang's belly began to show, and it was time to hide it no longer. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang said that they would tell them the matter while Zhang Xiangbei was also coming back. Xiaofang said yes. When the three of them were in the car returning to Hangzhou from Shanghai, Zhang Chen told Zhang Xiangbei that Xiaofang was pregnant. Zhang Xiangbei was happy when he heard it. Haha, so I've upgraded and am going to be a brother. Xiaofang said with a bitter face, yes, you are going to be a brother, but your grandparents don't know this yet. What do you mean? Zhang Xiangbei knew the matter was serious as soon as he heard this, and asked, you haven't told them yet? Xiaofang nodded. Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly, awesome, Mom and Dad, you dare to do such an unorthodox thing. I can't save you. Zhang Chen cursed while driving, you brat, you have to be saved even if you don't save me. Okay, let me think about how to save you, Zhang Xiangbei said. By the way, Aunt Xiaofang, you can say that you only know it now. No, that is a stupid sister, and her IQ is not the same as yours. Match, or still. Zhang Xiangbei thought for a long time, but couldn't think of any good solution, so he shouted. After all, let's just say this to them and just scold them for a while. Lao Zhang, it's a good thing anyway. They won't scold Aunt Xiaofang, and they won't scold you for a long time. Lao Zhang, just bear with it. Just take a moment. Xiaofang chuckled, and Zhang Xiangbei continued, swearing is not lethal anyway. At worst, you can turn around and run away. When the three people arrived home, the four old people were naturally overjoyed to see Zhang Xiangbei back. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Wait a minute, grandparents, I have something to announce." Everyone looked at him, and Zhang Xiangbei said seriously, "Aunt Xiaofang is pregnant. She has been pregnant for more than 3 months." The four old men were startled, and then they all looked at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen shouted in his heart, "It's over, thunder is rolling from the sky. Don't blame Dad, and don't blame Aunt Xiaofang." "I didn't let them tell them," Zhang Xiangbei said calmly, "I told them that such good news must wait until I come back. Come and announce." As soon as Zhang Xiangbei said this, the four old men immediately turned around and exaggerated that Xiangbei was sensible. Then they surrounded Xiaofang and asked questions, leaving Zhang Chen aside long ago. Zhang Xiangbei walked over and asked Zhang Chen proudly, "How are you, Dad Zhang?" Zhang Chen raised his thumbs at him, "You are their nemesis." "What nemesis?" "I have learned to think from their perspective and find solutions to their problems." "Do you understand?" Zhang Xiangbei said. During dinner, Tan Shehen also came over. Tan Shehen and Zhang Chen said, "Zhang Chen, come with me to Yongcheng the day after tomorrow." "What are you going for?" Zhang Chen asked. "I want to talk to Nanan," Tan Shehen said, "it's been such a long time since I left." Zhang Chen understood that Tan Shehen was going to tell Xiang Nan about her life experience, and Zhang Chen made an agreement. When Zhang Xiangbei heard this, he called out, "Aunt Shehen, I'll go with you." Tan Shehen said yes. Xiaofang asked Tan Shehen, "What happened? What do you want to talk to Nanan about?" Tan Shehen looked at Zhang Xiangbei, shook her head toward Zhang Chen, and said to Xiaofang, "You can ask him later." Zhang Chen understood that Tan Shehen authorized him to reveal to Xiaofang that Xiang Nan was Ganz's daughter. Tan Shehen went back. When Xiaofang and Zhang Chen were about to go back to their homes, Zhang Chen's mother stopped them. Zhang Chen's mother said to Zhang Xiangbei, "Bei, you go live with your father tonight." "Why?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "Your room is for Aunt Xiaofang." "Aunt Xiaofang is almost 4 months old," Zhang Chen's mother said. Zhang Xiangbei understood immediately. He made faces at Zhang Chen and Xiaofang and said, "It's so sad that we have to part ways." Xiaofang's face turned red instantly. Zhang Chen's mother reached out and patted Zhang Xiangbei, laughing and scolding, "You are a big kid, but you don't know anything." Zhang Chen said to his mother, "Isn't it necessary?" "Why is it not necessary?" "Let me make it clear to you. If Xiaofang doesn't live here, she will live with her mother. If she can't lie back, you will stay in jail for me." Zhang Chen's mother said that. Zhang Xiangbei laughed loudly when she heard this. Xiaofang's mother kept nodding beside her. Xiaofang's face turned red with embarrassment and she lowered her head and did not dare to say a word. Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said with a smile, "I think it is necessary." Zhang Chen stretched out his hand and gave it to him. Zhang Xiangbei said, "Did you see that he is still so full of blood? It is very necessary." The four old men all laughed. Zhang Chen stared at Zhang Xiangbei, and Zhang Xiangbei said, "Okay, Dad, we can go over and talk about the deep love between father and son." Zhang Chen's mother said to Zhang Chen, "It's okay for you to talk to Xiaofang here before going to bed, but it must not exceed 10 o'clock. Zhang Xiangbei stood up, waved his hand and said, "Bye, Dad, I'll go talk to Mom first, take your time." Zhang Xiangbei left, and Zhang Chen had no choice but to send Xiaofang into Zhang Xiangbei's room. Xiaofang said with a sad face. What should we do, my dear? There is still more than half a year. Do we have to do this every day? Zhang Chen shook his head and said, maybe it's just the beginning. Next, the free lunch and dinner will be over. The old lady number 10 and the old lady number 11 are already on the field and have started to fully monitor. Just accept your fate. Then tell me quickly what Sister Shahan is going to tell Nanan, Xiaofang said. She's going to tell Xiang Nan that the Pole is her father. Ah, Xiaofang was shocked. What are you talking about, dear? Are you saying that Brother Ganzi is Nanan's biological father? How is this possible? It's true. Teacher 10 and MRS 10 also knew about this. Before Xiang Nan's father died, he asked Tan Shahan and Xiang Nan to tell her. Tan Shahan didn't think it was good to say it at that time, so she didn't say it. Now, Lao Gui is dead. After more than 3 months, Tan Shahan probably thought that Xiangnan had calmed down and could tell her about it. Next, I guess. What do you estimate, dear? Xiaofang asked. I guess Tan Shahan will start looking for Lula Pole. According to Tan Shahan's character, she will find the pole even if she digs 3 feet in the ground, Zhang Chen said. Xiaofang sighed and said, if that were the case, it would be a good thing. But, dear, how could this guy be Nanan's biological father? Zhang Chen started talking to Xiaofang, starting from Jiao Fang and the relationship between Lu Ligan and Tan Shahan. Zhang Chen and Xiaofang talked about how they made an appointment to go to Hainan together. Tan Shahan was stopped by Lao Tan and MRS Tan, so they couldn't go. Unexpectedly, they broke off contact. Then Tan Shahan found out that she was pregnant. Zhang Chen kept saying as she spoke, Xiaofang kept nodding. When Zhang Chen said this, he just didn't mention Jin Lily, and the threesome that followed became a twosome between him and the pole. Zhang Chen's mother had knocked on the door and came in twice. She saw one of them lying on the bed and the other sitting there neatly dressed. The two were just talking. She left with peace of mind. At 10 o'clock, Zhang Chen's mother came in to catch up with Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen said, we are talking about something and we haven't finished talking yet. Or you can sit here and listen. She looked at Xiaofang, who kept nodding. Only then did Zhang Chen's mother walk out angrily. Thank you Quadratic for the tip. Thank you Wonk 119, at Invisible Man, Tai Zhongshang 1, Zongkai 727, Humor Tribe, Book Friends 202103011065777871196, PCM 600812, Love Purple Only, Bio 7344, Tiger, Reader 1297873838407110656, Tianying 1978, Dong Long Dong, Book Friends 20200318232956519, Hoo Hoo, LW. Norby, Jumping Rope Pig, Lou, It's Not an Impossible World, Brokeback Mountain, Kelvin, Book Friends 20180803025635047's monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1736. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan took Zhang Xiangbei to Yongcheng and had dinner at Tan Shahan's house at noon. MRS 10 called Xiangnan and asked her to come back for lunch. On the phone, MRS 10 specifically told Xiangnan to come back alone because usually when Xiangnan comes back for dinner, he often brings Yin Tao or Ding Yusong with him, but rarely comes back alone. Xiangnan was a little confused. Why did Grandma explain it like this if she just went home to have a meal? Could it be that she cooked something special today because she was worried that there would be too many people to eat? Stingy Xiangnan curled his lips. When I got home, I saw Zhang Chen and Zhang Xiangbei. Xiongnan understood that it was them who were here, no wonder. Xiongnan was very happy to see Zhang Xiangbei and pulled him along. The two of them quickly went into Xiongnan room and talked about themselves. Tan Shahen looked at the closed door to the south and whispered to Zhang Chen. It's strange. Nan Nan doesn't talk so much to others in normal times. Why is it that when she sees Bai Bei, she has so much to talk about? How can two people talk so much? You take care of them, Zhang Chen said. Just education and criticism will take Xiang Nan half an hour from the beginning. Tan Shahen was so happy that Zhang Chen said, only your family can talk to Xiongnan. Now, Zhang Xiangbei, I can't even say anything to him. He has 3 words waiting for me. Only you can say something to him, to Xiongnan. He is honest and honest of. When Tan Shahen thought about it, it was really like this. Tan Shahen said happily, okay, Nanan finally vented his anger on me. The old one was bullied by his father, and the young one got his money back. Have I bullied you? Zhang Chen opened his eyes wide. Tan Shahen, the person who can bully you is probably not born yet. Why not? Think about it, every time I disagree with you, you won the upper hand in the end, Tan Shahen said, and talked about the past, Nanan arts examination, dropping out of school, joining the theater troupe, which time wasn't it? I've always been bullied by you. Zhang Chen said proudly, what's bullying? I'm trying to convince people with reason. Did you see that Xiongnan returned to the troupe? She didn't make a mistake, right? She was really born for the stage. Get out, Tan Shahen scolded, but after scolding, she also laughed. When Mrs. Tan came to tell them that it was time for dinner, Tan Shahen went to Xiongnan's room and called twice before the two of them came out talking and laughing. After finishing the meal, Xiongnan patted Zhang Xiangbei on the shoulder and told him to leave. The two of them got up and prepared to go back to Xiongnan's room. Tan Shahen said, Nanan, wait a moment, we have something to tell you. What's going on? Xiang Nan asked. Tan Shahen, Zhang Chen, and Lao Tan went to sit on the sofa in the living room. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen sat on the long sofa, Lao Tan sat on the single sofa on the side, and there was an empty single sofa opposite. Tan Shahen asked Xiang Nan to come over and sit down. Xiang Nan sat down on the empty single sofa and looked at them. Zhang Xiangbei also followed. Seeing that Tan Shahen and the others had serious expressions, Zhang Xiangbei asked, do I need to avoid it? No need, Tan Shahen said, you can know this, Bai Bei. Zhang Xiangbei said oh and sat half-assed on the armrest of the sofa where Xiongnan was sitting. Zhang Chen cursed. Go get a chair. For such a tall person, what's the difference between sitting there and standing? Zhang Xiangbei made a face and walked away. After a while, he came back with a small bamboo chair, placed it on the coffee table, and sat down facing Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen. Mazu's chair was very short. After sitting down, Zhang Xiangbei's knees reached to his chest. He put his hands on his knees, like a primary school student. The formation of 5 people was more like 4 people on the sofa. While interrogating Zhang Xiangbei, looking at Xiongnan, he couldn't help laughing. After everyone sat down, Tan Shahen thought about it for a long time and suddenly realized that she didn't know how to speak. She looked at Lao Tan, who had a straight face and said nothing, then looked at Zhang Chen, who happened to be looking at her too. Tan Shahen raised her chin for help, signaling for him to help. Zhang Chen coughed twice, looked at Xiang Nan and said, Nan Nan, it has been several months since your father passed away. Originally, your father wanted your mother to tell you about this while he was in the hospital bed. I wonder if you have any impression of it? Your mother felt that at that time, it was important to save you. Dad is the most important thing, not the time to talk about it. Now, she thinks she should let you know, and you have the right to know. What's the matter, uncle? Xiang Nan smiled and said, you are all so serious, I'm a little scared. Jiang Chen looked at Tan Shahen and said to Xiang Nan, "What your mother wants to tell you is that your biological father is Lu Lizan, yes, Uncle Zanzi." Xiangnan was shocked, and Zhang Xiangbei shouted, "Omega, can't you?" Tan Shahen lowered her head slightly, but still didn't say a word. Jiang Chen looked at her and felt that it was really embarrassing for the person involved to talk about it. It would be more convenient for him to talk about it from a third party's perspective, so he told Xiaofang what he said the night before yesterday. The matter was discussed with Xiang Nan again. However, this time he simplified it again, and also did not mention Jin Lily, let alone their going to Hainan. Originally, Tan Shahen was going to go with them, but it was not possible because of the objections of Lao Tan and Mrs. Tan. Jiang Chen's current story is that he and Lu Ligan, two young people from the mountains and valleys, were dissatisfied with the current situation and wanted to go to Hainan to find more development opportunities. But after arriving in Hainan, for one reason or another, although Lu Ligan wrote a letter to Tan Shahen never received it. Jiang Chen even omitted the fact that Lao Tan had a phone at home but would prevent them from talking. Not even telling Xiang Nan. In fact, Lu Ligan called Tan Shahen when he arrived in Hainan. Jiang Chen just told Xiang Nan that at that time, it was not like now, with mobile phones and the internet. At that time, the only contact between people was relying on writing letters. Once communication is interrupted, all contact is completely broken. What Jiang Chen said was not necessarily lying to Xiang Nan. Most people at that time were indeed in such a situation. There were very few people with telephones. The telephone number in Lao Tan's home was because the Cultural Affairs Bureau introduced Lao Tan as a talent. At that time, I pretended to be a special treat for him. Jiang Chen and Xiang Nan said that your mother didn't know where we were because of this. At this time, she found out that she was pregnant again, but there was no way to find us. Jiang Chen then explained how harsh the policies at that time were. What would be the consequences if someone like Tan Shahen was discovered to be pregnant out of wedlock? She would definitely be dismissed from public office. It would be useless for anyone to plead for mercy. For a person at that time, being fired from public office was equivalent to being sentenced to death. It was worse than a person without a job. People without a job could still find a job. For those who were fired from public office, no unit would dare to hire them. You can do odd jobs here and there, or set up a street stall or run a small business. The fate of adults is so tragic, and so is that of children. It is impossible for unmarried people to obtain birth certificates. Children without birth certificates are born without a household registration, and are classified as black households. Children from black households cannot even go to kindergarten or primary school. Jiang Chen then explained to Xiang Nan how Tan Shahen and Feng Logui got married, just to keep their jobs, and most importantly, of course, to get the birth certificate. Jiang Chen looked at Xiang Nan and kept talking. Xiang Nan kept listening to Jiang Chen quietly with no expression on his face and didn't even interrupt. At some points, Zhang Xiangbei could hardly help but interrupt. He looked at Xiang Nan and didn't ask, so he didn't dare to ask. As Jiang Chen talked, he suspected that Xiang Nan was not listening, but when he stopped, Xiang Nan looked up at him, and Jiang Chen continued. When Jiang Chen finished speaking, there was a deathly silence in the room. Mrs. Tan tidied up the kitchen and did not dare to come over. She could only sit at the dining table and listen to the goings-on here with her ears raised, her heart pounding. After being silent for a while, Xiangnan turned to Zhang Xiangbei and asked, "Zhang Xiangbei, do you know about this?" Zhang Xiangbei said quickly, "How could I know? I just found out just now. I'm already shocked." Xiang Nan nodded, and then asked Jiang Chen, "Uncle, have you known about this for a long time?" "No," Jiang Chen said, "your mother stuck to her promise to your father. When your father was still alive, she didn't tell anyone that. I only found out about your father after his death. By the way, Your Uncle Zhangza still doesn't know about this. Grandpa, what about you? Have you known this for a long time? Xiang Nan asked, looking at Lao Tan, who nodded. Xiang Nan said, okay, now I know it too. After saying that, Xiang Nan stood up. She did not go back to her room, but walked out of the door directly. Zhang Chen, Tan Shahan, and Lao Tan looked at each other. Xiang Nan was so calm, which was beyond their expectations. After listening to her, they walked out without any expression, and they were even more confused. Zhang Xiangbei had already stood up. He looked at Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen nodded and Zhang Xiangbei chased after him. When Zhang Xiangbei chased him to the elevator entrance, the elevator Xiangnan took was already going down. Zhang Xiangbei quickly pressed the down button and waited for the arrival of another elevator. The elevator arrived and Zhang Xiangbei walked in. He hesitated between the first floor and the underground floor, but chose the underground floor. Zhang Xiangbei got out of the elevator and ran into the parking lot. When he saw Xiangnan already there, walking to his car, he opened the door and got in. Zhang Xiangbei hurriedly chased after him. Xiangnan started the car and was about to drive. Zhang Xiangbei stopped in front of the car and patted the hood. Xiangnan was startled. She quickly stepped on the brakes and shifted the gear to park. She rolled down the window and cursed. Road. Are you looking for death, Zhang Xiangbei? Zhang Xiangbei walked over, opened the passenger seat door, and got into the car. Why did you come in? Xiang Nan asked. Follow you, Zhang Xiangbei said. I'm going to work. Okay, I'll go to work with you. I'm going to the spa. Okay, I'll go to the spa with you. Are you going to the women's spa? Xiang Nan was both funny and angry. It doesn't matter, I can wait in the rest area outside, Zhang Xiangbei said. Xiangnan had no choice but to shout to Zhang Xiangbei, okay, I want to go to the cemetery, do you want to go? Let's go, I'm going to pay my respects to Uncle Feng too, Zhang Xiangbei said. Xiangnan stared at Zhang Xiangbei for a while, shook her head, restarted the car and drove out. After the car crossed the Baisha Bridge and headed towards the Yongcheng funeral home outside the city, Zhang Xiangbei asked Xiangnan. Sister, are you okay? Okay, what's wrong with me? Xiangnan sneered and snorted, when a dad dies, another dad will appear immediately. The number of dads is endless. Zhang Xiangbei, what do you think I can do wrong? I feel bad for you, Zhang Xiangbei said angrily. Get out, Xiangnan yelled at Zhang Xiangbei. Thank you Hu, quadratic VC, Kelvin, for the reward of 2 fishes at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you Hu, Li Rujin, Yunlong Frogfish, Hydrogen Oxide Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Book Friends 2020122120100707, Book Friends 160529232957,000, Shi Yitan, Gongzimian Z, The Little Brother Who Eats Fish, Zongkai 727, Shuang Lingxiao, Void Broken Dream, Sky Racer, Zi Zhang said, Pai Wuzun, Book Friend 201912170332388847's monthly ticket. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1737. Drive the car south to Yongcheng Funeral Home, enter the gate, drive all the way inside, pass through the entire funeral home, and continue to drive towards the mountain COL at the back until you reach a stone archway with the words Yongcheng Cemetery written on it. Xiangnan parked the car in the parking lot in front of the archway. Xiangnan and Zhang Xiangbei said, get off the car. In the parking lot in July, the sun was blazing outside. Xiangnan said, take the umbrella on the back seat. Zhang Xiangbei said oh, turned around, reached for the umbrella from the back seat, and got out of the car. Xiang Nan also got out of the car. She saw Zhang Xiangbei squinting his eyes, standing next to the car and looking around, holding an umbrella in his hand, and cursed to Xiang Nan. "Idiot, open the umbrella." Zhang Xiangbei quickly opened his umbrella, walked over, and handed the umbrella handle to Xiang Nan. Xiang Nan rolled his eyes at him and cursed. "Why, didn't you hold an umbrella for a girl?" Zhang Xiangbei chuckled, held an umbrella, and shaded Xiangnan, leaned over to Xiangnan, and said let's go, and the two of them walked toward the COL. The winding mountain road was close to the foot of the mountain on one side. The mountains on both sides were very high. The afternoon sun began to slant westward. They walked inside for 4 or 5 minutes. The mountain shadows had already covered the road. Zhang Xiangbei put away his umbrella. Although the temperature was very high, but the wind in the valley was cool, and the two of them were sweating constantly, but they didn't feel stuffy. Xiang Nan led Zhang Xiangbei up the mountain along a stone staircase. On both sides of the staircase were 2 rows of camphor trees. Behind the camphor trees were rows of neatly arranged tombs. They climbed up for 5 or 6 minutes. Turn right and walk along the cross passage, passing by tombs, until you reach Feng Logui's tomb. Behind each row of graves in the cemetery, there is a row of cypress trees. The cypress trees are not high, but because the rows of graves are stepped, the row of cypress trees behind them is still higher than their heads. When they were standing, their heads were exposed to the sun, and when they were half crouched, they were in the shade of the trees. Although the ground here doesn't get the sun, it is hot. Zhang Xiangbei put his umbrella on the ground and said to Xiangnan, "Sit down." Xiangnan sat down on the umbrella, looked up and saw Zhang Xiangbei's upper body in the sun, and cursed, "Idiot, you squat down too." Zhang Xiangbei had just squatted down on the edge of Xiang Nan, then stood up. He walked to the road in front, broke off a few cypress branches, walked back and placed them next to Xiang Nan, and then sat down as well. Zhang Xiangbei turned to look at Feng Logui's tombstone. He remembered it and was about to get up again. He asked Xiangnan, "What are you doing?" "I pay my respects to Uncle Feng," Zhang Xiangbei said. "Sit down, stop being pretentious, you don't even know him," Xiang Nan said. "Sit here, he can see you." "Right, Dad," Xiangnan suddenly raised his voice and shouted, as if there was really someone next to him. Zhang Xiangbei couldn't help but shudder. The two people sat there, looking at the valley below and the hillside opposite. All the tombs in this valley were on this mountain. The mountain opposite was shady and had bad geomantic omen, so there were no tombs. It was just a barren mountain, and there was nothing. The trees, the sun shining on the thatched grass all over the mountain, are shining, making the grass look wet. The wind in the mountain col was chaotic. It came and went. When they were silent, they could hear the rustling of thatch on the opposite side, and the rustling of the cypress trees in front and behind them. The sweat on the two people's bodies gradually disappeared. They changed their positions and sat back to back. Xiangnan sighed and said, "My dad is so pathetic." "What's wrong?" Zhang Xiangbei asked. "No wonder my mother has always looked down on my father. Ever since I can remember, I have never seen her give my father a good look. When my father talks at home, he always glances at my mother with one eye. He is so careful. And finally got divorced." Xiangnan said. Zhang Xiangbei was silent. He couldn't imagine what kind of experience it was. Zhang Xiangbei had never experienced it. From the time he could remember, he knew that his parents were very good and loving. Until his mother passed away. Xiang Nan snorted and sneered, "The goal has been achieved, the job has been saved, and I have been born and grown up, so my father is no longer needed. They just divorced. I dare guaranteed, my mother must have suggested it." Zhang Xiangbei said, "Sister, I don't think Aunt Shahan is that kind of person. What is not that kind of person, that is, otherwise, why do you think my mother looks down on my father? Not only my mother, I know, even my grandfather and grandmother also look down on my father. Zhang Xiangbei originally wanted to say that your grandparents also looked down on Uncle Zhangzi, but when Xiangnan's words were a bit harsh, Zhang Xiangbei endured them and did not say anything. Even Zhang Chen didn't know that the reason why Tan Shahan and Feng Logui became strangers on the same bed was because Tan Shahan discovered that the letters Lu Ligan wrote to her were all written by Feng Logui. Logui intercepted it? Xiang Nan didn't even know. She could only deduce that Tan Shahan looked down on Feng Logui. Also, the divorce between Feng Logui and Tan Shahan was really not proposed by Tan Shahan, but by Feng Logui and Tan Shahan the next day after Huang Linghua made a fuss in the street that night. Sister, you don't accept Uncle Gangzi, Zhang Xiangbei asked. Actually, I think Uncle Gangzi is also a very good person. What should I accept? Accept that he is my father? Didn't I say that he himself doesn't know that he is my father? Huh, what should I accept? Besides, does anyone know where he is now? Xiang Nan said, I only have one father. He passed away and was buried here. My surname is Feng, not Lu, and I will never change my surname in my life. Xiang Nan's eyes were red as she said, I still remember when I was a child, my father held me in his arms every night and stood at the window waiting for my mother to come back. Almost every night, I would sit with my father in his arms. Asleep in his arms. Xiang Nan shed tears as she spoke. She turned to look at Feng Logui's tombstone beside her and shouted, Dad, I really miss you, every night. Xiangnan cried. After a while, she felt Zhang Xiangbei's body twitching behind her. She turned around and saw that Zhang Xiangbei had tears streaming down his face. Xiangnan felt strange and asked. Zhang Xiangbei, I'm crying for mine, why are you crying too? Zhang Xiangbei said, I miss my mother too. Aunt Xiaofang is very good to me. I am very happy that she can be with my father, but, I still miss my mother very much. Xiang Nan's heart shuddered. She recalled that day in the corridor of a hospital in Hangzhou City. They looked into the isolation ward. Aunt Xiao Zhao had left, and Uncle Zhang Chen was still drawing a watch for her. There was a lot of crying in the corridor. Only Zhang Xiangbei didn't cry. The eyes on the mask stared at the ward inside the glass in horror. Xiang Nan remembered that she was holding Zhang Xiangbei and crying, and said to him, Sister will always be good to you. Zhang Xiangbei finally burst into tears and shouted, But sister, I still want my mother. Xiangnan turned around, hugged Zhang Xiangbei, and said to him, Zhang Xiangbei, it doesn't matter, you still have a sister, I will still be good to you. Zhang Xiangbei nodded and said, I know sister, you have to remember that you still have me. Xiangnan nodded, I remember, Zhang Xiangbei. The two people hugged each other and cried loudly. They felt that they were two orphans abandoned by the world. They were the only two together and dependent on each other. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan decided to stay in Yongcheng for one night and see Xiang Nan's reaction. In the evening of that day, they went to Gaohong to visit everyone. The troop dormitory in Gaohong had been built and everyone had moved into their new houses. Someone saw Zhang Chen and Tan Shahan arriving on the balcony and shouted, and everyone came out. Greet them, there are many people, be sure to take them to your home to sit. They arrived at Xiang's house first, and Xiang said to them. Our troop has finally made it through. Look, we won awards and were assigned new houses. We have taken advantage of all the good things. Now when we go out and say that we are from the Wu Opera Troupe, our chests are puffed up. Unlike before, people I'm embarrassed to ask. Xiang's husband said from the side, when our theater building is completed by the end of the year and we move in, it will be even more impressive. Xiang sighed and said, oh, it's a pity that Logui is not lucky. A sigh made everyone fall silent. When they arrived at Teacher Wu's house, Tan Shahen asked Teacher Wu, "How is Nanan doing in the group?" "She is the group leader. Teacher Wu, you have to help her more." "If you can't help, there's no need to help." Teacher Wu waved his hand and said, "Nan is modeled after you. He manages a theater troupe very well. Besides, now, it's all dominated by their young people. We, the older ones, enjoy our leisure time." Mrs. Wu said from the side, "Yes, this Nanan, even us family members admire her. She talks to you with a smile and a soft voice. Even if you say you are wrong, you feel very comfortable listening to her." "What, Mrs. Wu, wouldn't you think of going to her office to cry?" Zhang Chen joked. "If you don't cry, don't cry. It's too late to laugh now." "Why cry?" Mrs. Wu waved her hand and said with a smile. After coming down from Jiaofang, they went to the Western Zhejiang Technical School and to Xiang Nan's office. Xiang Nan's Hung, Ding Yusong, and several young musicians were discussing the matter of rescoring stealing immortal grass. Zhang Xiangbei sat surfing the internet. Seeing them come in, Xiang Nan stood up and said to Zhang Chen, "Uncle, today's audiences don't like watching martial arts dramas so much anymore. We just want to modify this stealing immortal grass. Increase the literary and opera part," Zhang Chen asked. "Xiang Nan is right," Zhang Chen said with a smile. "It's normal for today's audiences not to like watching martial arts dramas. Everyone watches martial arts movies and gunfights every day, just doing a few somersaults. Of course it won't attract them. In the past, when there was no TV or movies, the audience saw just jumping down from the high platform with a somersault is satisfying. Now, they need you to hang the wire and fly on the stage." "That's right, Mr. Zhang, we just want to strengthen the literary and operatic part, and add Via to fly on the stage. When Bai Suhen and Xiaoqing go up to Kunlun Mountain, it will be like the flying sky in Dunhuang. What a great stage effect," Ding Yusong said. After the two people left Xiangnan's office, Tan Shahen asked Zhang Chen. "Zhang Chen, look at what's going on with Nan. I don't believe that she really accepts this matter so calmly." Zhang Chen said, "It's true or false. Anyway, things have been settled. Let her accept it slowly. Time will heal everything." Tan Shahen sighed and said, "Okay, it's up to you. Thank you to Quadratic VC and Daily Page for the rewards. Thank you to Lao Chantang, Dong Long Dong, Hu, UN11, Sueo Singing, Er Mao, Shiyo 201806250713420282, 201809062232049344 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1738. The next day, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen were going back to Yongcheng. Zhang Xiangbei continued to stay in Yongcheng and temporarily lived in Tan Shahen's house. Zhang Xiangbei and Zhang Chen said that there would be nothing to do when they returned to Hangcheng. In a few days, Sun Xiangyang and Zhou Ruyi is on vacation and they are coming over. We are going to go to the countryside below Yongcheng. Every mountain in Yongcheng is a scenic spot. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I'm too lazy to care about you. It's your grandma and grandma who are pitiful. You're going to make your grandma and grandma worried. No, you tell them that I can completely escape their control now. I am an adult. They should focus on Xiaoko and Zixi," Zhang Xiangbei said. "Who is Zixi?" Zhang Chen asked. "My sister, my name is Zhang Xiangbei, and I already have Xiangnan. When my sister was born, of course she should be named Zhang Xiangzi." Zhang Chen smiled and nodded, "This name is not bad, but how do you know it will be a girl?" "I feel," Zhang Xiangbei said, "if it's a boy, there is a backup plan, let's call him Zhang Xiangdong." Zhang Chen said yes, the naming rights belong to you, but you still have to obtain Aunt Xiaofang's consent. Aunt Xiaofang has already agreed, and she also thinks it will be Zixi. Zhang Xiangbei chuckled. As the two of them drove back to Hangzhou, Zhang Chen asked Tan Shehen, "What are you going to do next?" "What should I do?" Tan Shehen asked. "I mean the pole." Tan Shehen was silent for a while and said, "Since I have told Nanan that the pole is her father, of course I want to find her father back for her." Zhang Chen nodded. As expected, Tan Shehen would start looking for Lu Ligan next. Zhang Chen and Tan Shehen said, "Yes, there are some problems that must be faced and solved by Zhuangzi himself. No matter what, he is Xiangnan's biological father, and they are connected by blood. They will find a way to get along with each other. I believe that Zhuangzi has the emotional intelligence." Tan Shehen nodded and said sadly, "First it's Lao Mang, then Lao Gui. I'm worried that if some people are missing, they might never be seen again in this life. But, this bastard, we have been looking for him for so long in the past few years, but there is no news about him. How to find it? What's even more troublesome is that, just like Mengping, if they want to prevent others from finding them, they have enough intelligence to hide it unless they are willing to show up." Zhang Chen said, "By the way, Wu Ziyawai said last time the method can still be used." "What can we do?" Tan Shehen asked. "The Pole is not a wanted criminal, nor is it a trafficked woman or child. We have no way to find it through the police. We can only use our own strength. Wu Ziyawai and his subordinate branches and couriers are all over the country, asking Wu Ziyawai to distribute photos of the Pole. Let's offer a reward to find someone, and anyone who can help find the Pole will be given a reward of 100,000 yuan. 200,000, Tan Shehen said. "Okay, then 200,000, Zhang Chen said. "You call Wei Venfang now." Tan Shehen nodded and dialed Wei Venfang's number. When Wei Venfang heard this, she immediately said, "Okay, Sister Shehen, don't think about the bonus. I will arrange it. Just send me the latest photos of Mr. Liu." "How about that, Wei Venfang? This is something I asked you to help with, and of course I will pay the bonus," Tan Shehen said. "Oh, Sister Shehen, you don't have to worry about this. Just last time I didn't lend money to Mr. Liu, Wu Ziyawai is still angry with me because of this. Whenever we have a quarrel, he will bring it up against me. If Mr. Liu can be found, his anger should be gone," Wei Venfang said. "I am doing this for the sake of my own family harmony." Tan Shehen smiled and said, "Okay, Wei Venfang, thank you, and thank you Wu Ziyawai." After hanging up the phone, Tan Shehen told Zhang Chen about the matter. Zhang Chen also laughed and said, "This Wu Kai, when he and Ganzi are together, they are a living pair. If the two of them are on stage, they can talk about crosstalk. It turns out that when he was working as a driver for Ganzi, I said that he is the most daring in the world to refute and tease the boss. Driver. By the way, do you have a photo of the Pole?" Tan Shehen asked. Zhang Chen said, "He is not a beautiful woman. Why do I need his photo? Besides, this guy doesn't usually take photos. By the way, ask Yao Fen to look for any of you who participated in real estate fairs and land auctions online photo." Tan Shehen said okay and called immediately. After a while, Yao Fen called and told Tan Shehen that the photos of Mr. Liu can no longer be found online. They have been buried. The only ones that can be found are those of you and Mr. Zhang. After Zhang Chen heard this, a picture immediately appeared in front of his eyes. It was the East Lake recruitment wall that they went to every day when they first arrived in Haikan. The recruitment advertisements were like this: new ones were built on top of the old ones, layer by layer. Unexpectedly, the internet is also like this. New information quickly overwrites old information. Zhang Chen sighed, "It's only been a few years, and there are no photos of him anymore. It seems that the internet has no memory at all. By the way, when you were preparing to go public, you should have provided photos to the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, right? Tan Shahen called again, and Yao Fen indeed said that she had found it in the company's archived documents. Tan Shahen asked her to scan it and send it to Wei Venfang. After hanging up the phone, Tan Shahen also sighed. She said, "Tell me, is this person worth it?" "Whether it's worth it or not, that's all," Zhang Chen said, gesturing towards the villages passing by outside. "Just like these villages, 100 years ago, the same people in the same village were alive, and now there are still. How many people will remember who lived here 100 years ago? You may remember your grandfather's name, but will you still remember the name of Grandpa Lao Tan? This is the case for the whole family." Tan Shahen was silent. When driving through Fuang, Zhang Chen remembered. "He said there was another way to find the Pole and let him know directly that you were looking for him." "What can we do?" Tan Shahen asked. "Advertise," Zhang Chen said, "advertise directly in newspapers and online. He will definitely see it. I don't believe this bastard can live such a closed life." Tan Shahen nodded, thinking this was a solution. "By the way, let's put a full-page advertisement on the front page of the newspaper. Isn't this guy's favorite thing to do? Let's treat others with their own treatment and put it on the front page." "A full-page missing person advertisement," Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen agreed. "Then what newspaper should we publish it in?" "It must be a newspaper that is distributed nationwide. It will definitely not work like Qianzhong Evening News and Metropolitan Express. Their distribution scope cannot reach the whole country. The largest circulation in the country is People's Daily, but People's Daily I will definitely not publish such an advertisement. By the way, you ask Su Wenhui," Zhang Chen said. Tan Shahen quickly called Su Wenhui and hung up. She said to Zhang Chen, "It's Shanghai's Xinmen Evening News." Su Wenhui said, "Xinmen Evening News is sold at every newsstand across the country, or Football and Sports Weekly." "Football and Sports Weekly won't do. This guy, Zhang Ziyi, doesn't have much interest in sports. Let's go to Xinmen Evening News. Let Su Wenhui help contact Xinmen Evening News." The two people were talking about this, and the car had already entered Hangzhou. Zhang Chen simply drove directly to Qiashi Academy, parked the car, and walked to Tan Shahen's office. As soon as they entered the office, Su Wenhui called. He said, "Already contacted, okay, 220,000 per day. The information of the person you are looking for must be reviewed by them, and the content of the advertisement must also be reviewed by them." "Why, are they afraid that we are looking for sensitive people?" Zhang Chen asked. "Yes, of course the media will have this concern," Su Wenhui said. "I understand," Zhang Chen said. After putting down the phone, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen said, "Give me a pen and paper." Tan Shahen brought in a A4 paper and a marker to Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen immediately designed the advertisement. He wrote 5 large bold characters in the middle of the paper looking for Lu Ligan, and then, in the lower right, he wrote the character Tan in bold song style. Zhang Chen gave this advertisement to Tan Shahen and told her that it was just like this, there was no sensitive content at all, it would definitely pass, and the Pole would definitely be able to see it, and she would understand it when she saw it. Tan Shahen looked at the advertisement and asked doubtfully, "Is this all right?" Zhang Chen said, "Okay. No need to write anything else, just the word Tan. Isn't it enough? Others can't understand it, and they can't understand it after looking at the Pole. In this world, besides you and brother Tan Tan, who else named Tan would look for him? Also, no matter where he is, as long as you know him, if you know his name and see an advertisement like this on a newsstand, you will definitely buy it and give it to him." Tan Shahen nodded, feeling that what Zhang Chen said made sense, but "You don't even need to write a phone number," Tan Shahen asked. "If this bastard sees this ad and knows that you are looking for him, but still refuses to call, what's the use of writing a phone number? He won't remember your phone number? He just doesn't remember it? Just look it up online. You can also find the phone number of Splendid China. He called any sales department of Splendid China. Does anyone know who Lu Ligan is? If you publish the phone number, I can guarantee that the phone will ring non-stop every day, and they will all be called by boring people. Do you know how many boring people there are in the country? Tan Shahen said, yes, you are right, Zhang Chen. Also, as long as the Pole sees this advertisement, he will know that I am also looking for him, Zhang Chen said. Then add the word Zhang after this, Tan Shahen asked, pointing to the word Tan on the advertisement. Zhang Chen smiled and said firmly, no need to add it. As soon as he sees this advertisement, he will know that it was designed by me. Tan Shahen sent the copy of the advertisement, a copy of Lu Ligan's ID card, and a description, plus a copy of the publisher of the advertisement, which was her own ID card, to Su Wenhui. Tan Shahen and Su Wenhui said, if possible, log in for 3 days in a row. More than an hour later, Su Wenhui called and said, okay, Director Tan, the time has been set. Next week's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that is, July 17, 18, and 19, if we encounter an urgent press release from Xinhua News Agency, we will go back later. Postponed, before publishing, you need to go over and sign a contract. Tan Shahen agreed to tell me their account numbers. After hanging up Su Wenhui's call, Tan Shahen's mobile phone immediately received a text message from Su Wenhui, telling her the account number of the advertising department of Xinmin Evening News. Tan Shahen transferred the advertising fees from her card. Okay, now no matter which cave this bastard is hiding in, let's catch him, Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen said. Thank you, Captain Jim, Quadratic VC, Book Friend 20180412083706755, 2 fishes 1 up and 1 down, for the reward at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you, Captain Jim, hoo, Huandian Electromechanical, bad samples, remember the original intention without seeing a future, QTDJB, Wandering Mayfly, Tianying 1978, Romantic Cherry Blossoms, Book Friends 20180512122110518, thank you for all the recommendation votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1739. After the full-page advertisement looking for Lu Ligan was posted on the front page, Tan Shahen paid close attention to her mobile phone. She was so focused that she became a little nervous. When she was alone or when the surroundings were quiet, her mobile phone suddenly turned on. Tan Shahen would be frightened when the phone rang, especially when she saw an unfamiliar number, her heart would beat wildly. After picking up, these numbers, without exception, turned out to be for promotions and various awards and conferences. Especially those numbers starting with 010, they all claimed to be from a certain ministry and commission, and decided to invite them because of the outstanding performance of Splendid China participate in a certain meeting, or the selection of the top 10 and 20 in the country. The award ceremony will be held in the Great Hall of the People, and so on. Tan Shahen took the phone and wanted to scold the other party, but she still held back. She also thought about not answering the phone if it started with the 010 area code, but considering that Lu Ligan might be in Beijing, she might as well answer it. There was no news from her, and Wu Kai and Wei Venfang were also quiet. Tan Shahen was too embarrassed to call to ask, but Wei Venfang would call Tan Shahen every day to comfort her and say, Sister Shahen, there must be brave men under heavy rewards. The couriers below us are all crazy now. They carry photos of Mr. Lu with them. When there are no items to deliver, they run to the streets to look for people to deliver them. When I arrive at a new address, I will take out the photo and ask people if they have seen this person nearby. Don't worry, Sister Shahen, you will definitely find her. Having said that, there was no good news. Zhang Chen also felt strange. He said, could this bastard really hide in a hole in the ground? The looking for Lu Ligan advertisement itself has become a topic on the internet. Everyone is guessing who Lu Ligan is and who is Tan, who would spend such a large amount of money to find someone. Then someone dug it out from the pile of old papers and said that Lu Ligan was originally the chairman of Splendid China. Some people thought that the person named Tan could be Tan Shahan, the current chairman of Splendid China. Some people immediately objected. Tan Shahan was snatching Lu Ligan's position as chairman. Why was she looking for him to pay him back? Even if you want to pay back the money, this is not the way to look for it. If you look for it this way, people will hide even more. Under this message, someone scolded, "What are you talking about? Lu Ligan is still the largest shareholder of Splendid China. Why should he pay back? There must be something going on in their company and they need to talk to him." Yes, someone below said it should be a change in equity. A reporter actually found Tan Shahan and asked her, "Director Tan, if you posted this advertisement." Tan Shahan smiled and said that she didn't know about it at all. Tan Shahan smiled on her face, but she was a little scared in her heart. Fortunately, she didn't leave any more information or phone number at that time. Otherwise, there would be no peace now. Those phone numbers like hungry wolves would bombard her into powder. Zhang Chen smiled and said to Tan Shahan, "Yes, we were originally planning to post advertisements online, but now we don't need to. The internet is already full of looking for Lu Ligan advertisements. They did it for us for free." Zhang Chen, do you think it's impossible that this bastard didn't see it? He didn't contact us even though he saw it? What do you mean? Tan Shahan asked. Zhang Chen also felt that it was impossible for Lu Ligan not to see such a big movement. Even if he didn't see it, the people around him would also see it. It was impossible for him to live in a vacuum. After seeing it, he still insisted not to contact them. Zhang Chen felt that it was probably a matter of face. This guy still felt that he had no face to see Tan Shahan, and no face to face the Splendid China that he almost cheated to death. Of all people. Of course, Li Yong was right, he probably also felt embarrassed to see him. Wen Wen picked up the newspaper, tucked it under her arm, walked to the door and looked both ways, and then returned to the store. The sun outside was so strong that it turned a concrete street white. As far as the eye could see, there was no ghost on the street. Occasionally, one or two cars passed by. The cars were also weak and drove slowly. One after another, it looks like it has been fainted by the sun, and will stop with a pop at any time and stop moving. In the fruit shop nearby, someone took a bucket of water and poured it in front of the door. A burst of dust rose from the ground. After a while, the water was dried by the sun. Wen Wen picked up the newspaper under her arm, opened it, read it, folded it and put it back under her arm. She decided to go out. She asked the salesperson if she had brought an umbrella. The salesperson shook his head and said, "When I came in the morning, the sun was not shining yet." Fart. Wen Wen cursed in her heart. It was almost 9 o'clock when you came in the morning, and the sun was already hitting your chest and butt. No sun? There were umbrellas on the shelves in the supermarket, but they were for sale, and Wen Wen was reluctant to use them. Wen Wen walked to the door to take a look, and then made up her mind and walked out. The sun was shining at noon, and both sides of the street were lined with low houses of 2 or 3 stories. There was only a narrow shadow, like the lines drawn by the sun on both sides of the street. Wen Wenzhou pulled on her slippers and walked forward close to the door of the shop next to her. She was half in the shadow and half exposed to the sun. She clamped her arms and shrank into the shadow of the house as much as possible, tilting her head. Wear it to prevent your head from being exposed to the sun and your face from getting tanned. So people in the shops on both sides of the street saw Wen Wen walking on the street with her head tilted. Everyone called her, "Wen Wen, Come in and sit down. Ween Wen's head was tilted and it was inconvenient to shake her head, so she raised her right hand and waved it. When Ween Wen passed by the entrance of a cold drink shop, the boss also asked her to go in and sit down, so Ween Wen walked in. There was no one in the cold drink shop. There was only a dog lying at the door, with its mouth open and its tongue hanging out, radiating heat. Haha. In such weather, no one even had the courage to walk from home to the cold drink shop. In the store, the two ceiling fans were very old and kept making a whirring sound. Ween Wen stood in front of the counter, looking around and wondering what she wanted to eat. She asked the boss, "What delicious food do you have here?" The boss said, "Sweet rice wine, for breast enlargement." "Go away." Ween Wen pushed her chest out subconsciously and cursed, "I don't want it. Let your wife eat more at the airport." The boss laughed loudly and said, "What woman would think that her breasts and butt are too big?" As he said that, he had already opened the refrigerator and gave Ween Wen a bowl of sweet rice wine. Ween Wen asked, "You are so polite, do you treat me?" The boss said, "Yes, I'll treat you." Ween Wen took the sweet wine and walked to a table under the ceiling fan. She looked up and asked, "This fan of yours is so scary. Will it fall down?" The boss said, "Don't worry, it's been ringing for more than 2 years." Ween Wen sat down, put the newspaper under her arm on the table, picked up the spoon, and ate the sweet wine. The boss also came out from behind the counter and sat across from Ween Wen. He reached for the newspaper on the table, and Ween Wen shouted, "Don't move." The boss said dissatisfiedly, "I just have a look, I won't eat it." Ween Wen thought about it and it made sense. Besides, she was currently eating the sweet fermented rice served by others. When the boss extended his hand again, Ween Wen followed him. "Holy shit, who is this Lu Ligan? Who is looking for him?" the boss shouted. "Ten. This man named Ten is really rich for spending so much money on advertising to find someone. Hey, Ween Wen, tell me, this who is Lu Ligan?" "Your father," Ween Wen said. The boss said, "My father's name is Wang Dafa." After finishing the sweet wine, Ween Wen stood up, reached out and grabbed the newspaper from Boss Wang's hand, and still put it under her arm. Boss Wang shouted, Hey, let me finish reading it." The newspaper said that a person suffered epilepsy and fell on the roadside, but no one dared to save her. "It's none of your business," Ween Wen said, "you're not afraid of your wife coming. I told her that you treated me to some sweet wine. Let's see how you explain it when you get back." Ween Wen said and walked to the door. The street outside was still white. Ween Wen frowned and walked out anyway. Seeing that the street was coming to an end, Ween Wen saw the red door of Qianqian supermarket. Ween Wen walked over quickly and entered the door. She saw Qianqian inside the checkout counter, lying on her bed, sleeping on arms. The standing fan behind her shook her head, blowing Qinqian's hair up one by one, and then fell down again. Ween Wen reached out and slapped her hand on the cashier counter. Qianqian was startled and woke up. He raised his head and saw Ween Wen, and cursed. "You die hard, what are you doing here? Why are you looking after the store yourself? Where's Xiahua?" Ween Wen asked. Qianqian was stunned for a moment and then remembered. She looked around and cursed, "Hey, you idiot, you said you went out to eat a bowl of noodles, why haven't you come back yet?" Here, I'm here, I been back a long time ago." Someone shouted from behind the shelf, and then a little girl walked out and said to Qianqian, "I came back and saw the landlady asleep, so I didn't bother you." Qianqian said, "You are so sensible. You are much better than this bitch, and she still humming scared me." Ween Wen slapped the newspaper in her hand onto the cashier counter with a pop sound, and said to Qianqian, "Here, I'll scare you again." Qianqian looked at Ween Wen suspiciously, took the folded newspaper, opened it, and shouted, "Holy shit, who is it?" "Let's go," Ween Wen said. "Okay, Let's go, I'll drive, Qian said and stood up. Boss, are you going to Hongling Reservoir? Xiahua asked. Qian glared at her, and Xiahua quickly changed her words. Okay, it's Hongling Farmhouse. Lu Ligan was lying on the terrace. There was a shelf set up on this terrace. The shelf was covered with grapevines that climbed up from the first floor along the wall and then covered the entire shelf. The grape leaves were lush and green, completely blocking the entire terrace. In fact, Lu Ligan was lying in this green shade. Outside the terrace is a reservoir. The reservoir is not large, about the size of more than half a football field. There are 7 or 8 wooden houses scattered around the reservoir. The water in the reservoir is very clear, and a breeze blows from the water, bringing the smell of water. After lunch, Lu Ligan lay on the deck chair on the terrace and fell asleep without knowing it. Someone patted his face with a newspaper. Lu Ligan opened his eyes and saw Wen Wen and Qian standing next to him. Lu Ligan asked, "Why are you here?" Before he could sit upright, Lu Ligan immediately shouted, "Haha, don't leave when you are here. This place is so nice. We can try the Panjinlian upside-down grape rack." "Go away," Qian scolded. Thank you Zipanjiang1 and book friend 202011091113519323 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1740. Lu Ligan was in the waiting hall of Jinhua railway station. After he separated from Mengping and Chen Yakin, he went to the bus parking lot. Before he got there, he saw 4 or 5 people looking for someone in the parking lot. Lu Ligan immediately became alert and did not dare to move forward. He retreated and walked to the street outside the parking lot. He felt that the street was also very unsafe. He concluded that the people in the parking lot were the same as those he met in the waiting hall. They were also from Shaoxing and must be looking for them. Maybe there will be other Shaoxing people waiting for them on this street, or those people in the parking lot will meet him here when they come out. Lu Ligan didn't even know who these people were. Are they gangsters, relatives of Lao Ni, or police officers? It's possible anyway. Lu Ligan ducked into a store that sold pirated DVDs. He turned his back to the street outside and lowered his head. He picked up the public phone on the counter and called Chen Yakin. The result was that he couldn't get through. Lu Ligan secretly screamed, bad. It was so bad that even Chen Yakin's phone number couldn't be reached. She and Lao Meng must have been found by them. You can't stay in this place for a long time, it's too dangerous. Lu Ligan left the DVD store and wanted to go into the city. As soon as he left the store, a bus to Chenzhou, Hunan came. Lu Ligan waved and the bus stopped. The car door opened in front of him. Lu Ligan got in the car without thinking. The car continued to drive forward and soon left the urban area of Jinhua. Lu Ligan relaxed with a hanging heart. He knew that Chenzhou was in Hunan, close to Shaoguan. Lu Ligan and the others drove back and forth to Haikan. When I was passing by Shaoguan, I saw a fork in the road with the Chenzhou road sign hanging at the intersection. For people of Lu Ligan's age, the name Chenzhou is not unfamiliar. The reason why it is not unfamiliar is because Chenzhou has a training base for the Chinese women's volleyball team. In those years when the women's ranking was very popular, you can often read about it in newspapers. To Chenzhou's name. After calming down, Lu Ligan began to think about where he should go next. Since he went to Hunan, he immediately thought of Mr. Zhang. He could go to Mr. Zhang and stay with him in the Huago theater troupe, but Lu Ligan immediately discarded the idea. When we go to Mr. Zhang, of course the Shaoxing people can't find him, but Zhang Chen can easily find him. He went back from Liaoyang last time. Zhang Chen will definitely think that he will go to Liu Yang this time. Zhang Chen only needs to just call Lao Xie, and Lao Xie then call Lao Zhang, and you can find him. Lu Ligan now has to avoid not only the Shaoxing people, but also Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen. Otherwise, he can just go to the second-hand shop or Sanya, and the Shaoxing people won't be able to find him. This time the trouble was serious. Lu Ligan knew that although he and Meng Ping disappeared, the entire splendid China would definitely be in turmoil in the future. Whether they could survive it all depended on Tan Shahen's luck. The only thing Lu Ligan can rest assured is that even if splendid China collapses or goes bankrupt, Zhang Chen will take in Tan Shahen and Lao Tan. There is still a way out for everyone. This is because he doesn't want to drag Zhang Chen in and follow him. Reason for bad luck. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping knew that as long as they were still there, Zhang Chen would not ignore death. This idiot didn't know the depth. He would plunge in, even if he was killed along with him. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping felt that as long as they left, Lao Ni's case would be unjust and the debt would be ownerless. Tan Shahen was just a migrant worker, and those Shaoxing people had no reason to trouble her. The worst possible outcome would be that the company would go bankrupt, and even if the company if it goes bankrupt, as long as Zhang Chen is still there, the situation will not be that bad. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping therefore felt that they had to leave without a trace. When the car was approaching Kuzhu, Lu Ligan's eyes lit up. He thought of Wen Wen and Qian from Yilan's family. He decided to go find them. Lu Ligan didn't know if the police were also looking for him. He had no choice but to find them. It would be very risky for a person to wander around without someone covering him. He must first find a place to stay. Wen Wen and Qian, he is the only one who knows where they are, and they have not contacted each other for so many years. Even if the police pull out the call records on his mobile phone, there is no trace that he has contacted them. No one will know. Go find these two diehards yourself. When the bus arrived at the Shangrao Expressway service area, it was already past 7 o'clock in the evening. The driver told everyone that they would eat in half an hour. The fast food area in the service area is a long strip separated by a barrier. Everyone holds a tray and goes in from this end. Along the long row of glass windows, they take their favorite dishes in the window and go out from the other end. When payment is made, Lu Ligan lined up behind the driver, with several people separated in between. He saw the driver take a dish, a meal, and a free bowl of soup. After paying, he went to the lobby outside and found a table by the window. Sit down. Lu Lepol took 4 dishes. When he was checking out, he asked the cashier to bring him 2 cans of Red Bull drinks from the shelf at the back. Lu Ligan took the tray, sat down opposite the driver, and said to the driver, "Master, let's eat together." As he spoke, he took a can of Red Bull drink, placed it in front of the driver, and said to him, "Drive all night to refresh yourself." The driver quickly said, "Thank you, thank you." The two chatted while eating and soon became acquainted. The driver's surname was Su. Lu Ligan asked him, "Master Su, would you rather stay away from Chenzhou?" "It's not far, more than 100 kilometers," Master Su said. "So close. Does Ningyuan belong to Chenzhou?" "No, it belongs to Yangzhou." "Yangzhou? Is it the Yangzhou in Luzonjiuan's the snake attacker?" Lu Ligan asked. Master Su looked at Lu Ligan, wondering what he was talking about. Lu Ligan immediately changed his words and asked, "Then when I go to Ningyuan, I need to go to Yangzhou first and then go there?" "That's far away." Master Su dipped his right index finger in some water, drew an L on the table, and said to Lu Ligan, "Chenzhou is here, Ningyuan is at this point on the corner, and Yangzhou is at the point above. From Chenzhou to Yangzhou, we have to pass through Ningyuan, which is more than 200 kilometers." Lu Ligan understood and quickly said, "Thank you, thank you. You go to Ningyuan to do business?" "Ningyuan is a very poor place and there is no business to do," Master Su said. Luligan said no, he said half jokingly and half seriously, I was planning to abscond there. Master Su laughed loudly and said, don't worry, there are no police checks along the way. If there are checks and they ask you for your ID card, just tell them that you are following the car. Luligan said yes, thank you Master Su. The two of them were sitting and smoking. Master Su looked at Luligan and asked with a smile, are you really a wanted criminal? Luligan said, I don't know whether he is wanted or not. It is true that he is absconding. Looking at your body, you can't do anything bad, Master Su said. Luligan lowered his voice and said to him, misappropriation of public funds. That's pretty much it. People nowadays are willing to do anything as long as it's for money. Master Su said. Luligan nodded and said to him, actually, it's not me who is corrupt, it's the leader who is corrupt. If something goes wrong, if I don't run away to help him, he will go in. Yes, very loyal, Master Su said, don't worry, there are no economic criminals who are wanted. All wanted criminals are criminals. We have been stopped and inspected a lot. Every time we are inspected, we either arrest murderers or carry out explosions. Yeah, I've never heard of anyone catching embezzlement of public funds. Luligan quickly said thank you, thank you. After the two of them finished eating, they stood up and went out. Luligan bought 2 more cans of Red Bull, gave one to Master Su, and told him to drink it on the way. The two people got in the car. Master Su said to the man sitting in the passenger seat, sit in the back. Why? The man asked. This is where the shift driver sits. Master Su pointed at Lulipol, who could only stand up angrily and sit in the back. Luligan sat down in the passenger seat and asked Master Su, don't you always drive long distances with 2 drivers? Why are you alone? Master Su sighed, patted the steering wheel with both hands and said, I can't help it. I have to pay back the loan for this car. For 2 drivers, I have to pay one more person's wages. Anyway, it's just one night, 13 or 4 hours. I sleep during the day and drive at night. I can handle it all by myself. Luligan said, if you are tired, call me and I can help you drive for a while. I have never driven a bus, but I have driven a minibus. Master Su said yes, thank you. Luligan was sleeping all the way, and Master Su didn't call him. At 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, Luligan woke up. He saw Master Su taking out something chewy from a bag while driving. With? Luligan asked, what are you eating? Good stuff, Master Su said with a smile, do you want it? He said and handed one over to Luligan. Luligan was shocked. What he received was a raw wild pepper in his hand. Luligan asked, are you going to eat this thing raw like this? Master Su said, when you are sleepiest in the second half of the night, if you chew one, you won't feel sleepy at all. Master Su laughed loudly after saying this, but Luligan felt a little sad when he heard it. It was around 6 o'clock in the morning when the bus arrived in Chenzhou. When they parted, Master Su and Luligan said, if you go to the bus station now, there is already a bus to Ningyuan. Luligan quickly said thank you and we will meet again later. Master Su remembered it. He wrote a phone number for Luligan on a piece of paper and told him that if you return to Zhejiang or if you have anything to do in Chenzhou, you can call me on this number. Luligan said yes and he put the note away. Luligan walked out of the bus parking lot and walked along the street. He saw a dumpling shop on the roadside, so he went in and ordered a bowl of dumplings. The dumplings here were different from other places. The dumpling wrappers were not made of flour, but made of rice noodles, called rice dumplings. They tasted chewy and chewy. Luligan ate one bowl and felt that it was not enough, so he asked for another bowl. After eating, he continued walking forward and saw a bank on the side of the road. It was not open. The lights were on in the small hall with the ATM machines next to it. Luligan walked in, took out his wallet and took it out. A bank card. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping's credit cards were thrown away together with their mobile phones when they were in Hangzhou. This card was given to him by Chen Yakin. He refused to take it. Chen Yakin asked him to take it with him and told him that there was also I didn't have much money, so I could deal with it if they got separated. Unexpectedly, they really got separated. Lu Ligan shook his head. Lu Ligan inserted the card into the teller machine, entered the password, and saw 260,000 yuan on the card, which was somewhat beyond Lu Ligan's expectation. Lu Ligan didn't know if the card could still be used. He clicked on the withdrawal, and then tried the 2,000 option. The teller machine clicked, and then the sound of swiping counting money came from the machine. Finally, voted out $2,000. Lu Ligan thought for a while and simply withdrew all of today's cash withdrawal limit of 20,000. After walking out of the automatic glass door and standing on the street, Lu Ligan changed his mind and decided not to go to the station yet. Thank you hoo quadratic VC, happy woman, and the 2 fish rewards at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you hoo, don't see the future but remember the original intention, farsightedness. Book friend 201805121221105118, book friend 201911021135467718, Cheng Shanming, bronze, 1890-798-3117, ZSW, Fan Pei's Journey to the West, Zi Zheng said, Huaxin Yongxiao, Dong Longdong, Zongkai 727, Lao Shenzasang, Husansi, Kankanshanshui, monthly pass for book friends 201811241834235518. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 1741. Now that Chen Yakin has been taken away by them, Lu Ligan feels that this card may soon become unusable, and he must withdraw all the money in it. Lu Ligan didn't dare to go to the counter to get it. If he went to the counter to use someone else's card, he could withdraw 50,000 yuan at a time. However, Lu Ligan was still worried that he would be exposed when the person who wanted to withdraw money had to show his ID card. Although the bus driver Master Su told him that economic criminals are rarely wanted, Lu Ligan is still very worried, especially now that Lao Meng and Chen Yakin have been taken away. He is the only target. Who knows what will happen next? What's up? The only way is to withdraw 20,000 yuan a day from the ATM until all the money is withdrawn. Judging by common sense, Lu Ligan also knew that Chen Yakin had nothing to do with this matter. She was taken away by the police, and at most they only made a record and would not go in. She was not a person involved in the case, and generally speaking, the police would not keep an eye on her. Every one of her accounts. But for the sake of safety, Lu Ligan still didn't want to lead any clues to Ning Yuan, which would cause him to get angry. Lu Ligan decided to take out all the money in Chenzhou before leaving. In this way, he would be here stay for another 10 days. Lu Ligan continued walking along the street. He saw a footbath shop and walked in. Behind the counter, there was a woman in her 30s sitting, who must be the proprietress. The proprietress was surprised when she saw him. Although their footbath shop is open 24 hours a day, I have never seen anyone come to wash their feet so early. Is the camp open, beauty? Lu Ligan asked. We're open for business, but the technician won't come until 9 o'clock, said the landlady. It doesn't matter. Please open a box for me first, Lu Ligan said. I took a long-distance bus all night and my back is sore. I need to lie down. The landlady said, okay. She came out from behind the counter and led Lu Ligan to the box. Lu Ligan asked, can you take a shower here? After riding in the car all night, I feel a little uncomfortable in such hot weather. The landlady was embarrassed and said, we can't take a shower here, or else, since there's no one around right now, you can go to the bathroom at the end of the corridor to take a shower, and I'll get you a basin. Lu Ligan said yes, "Thank you, Beauty, you are really a kind person and a beautiful heart, and you are the best good person in the world." The landlady giggled and walked away. After a while, she came back with a plastic wash basin in her hand. Lou Ligon saw towels, shampoo, and soap in it. Lou Ligon quickly said thank you. He walked to the bathroom at the end of the corridor, locked the door, took off his clothes, filled the basin with water, and poured it over his body. After taking a shower, he walked back to the box. It was very cool in the box. The landlady had already turned on the air conditioner for him. After taking a shower, Lou Ligon felt refreshed. He lay down on the recliner and fell asleep soon. I don't know how long it took, but someone patted his thigh. Lou Ligon opened his eyes and vaguely saw a girl standing in front of him. The girl asked him what set meal he wanted, and Lou Ligon said anything was fine. "You are so smart, just help me arrange it." The girl walked out with a smile. After a while, she came back with a wooden basin. She put Lou Ligon's feet into the basin. Lou Ligon felt sleepy again. He told the girl, "You are here to serve me if I fall asleep, don't stop and keep adding clock until I wake up." The girl nodded and said yes. Lou Ligon quickly fell into sleep. In his dream, he felt someone massaging his feet, calves, thighs, arms, and shoulders. It was so comfortable that he couldn't describe it. It made him feel as if he was about to wake up. And fell asleep again in a daze. When Lou Ligon woke up, it was already past 2 o'clock in the afternoon. When the girl saw him opening his eyes, she asked, "Do you want me to massage your back again? I've been massaging your thighs for several hours." Lou Ligon said yes, and the girl flattened the recliner. Lou Ligon turned over and lay face down. He thought of it and asked quickly, "Beauty, did I cause you to miss lunch?" The girl said that she had already eaten. It would only take 5 minutes to have a meal. Lou Ligon was relieved. The girl knocked and pressed on his back. After a while, he fell asleep again. When Lou Ligon woke up again, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. He said to the girl, "Beauty, do you have hypnosis skills? Why do I fall asleep as soon as you massage me?" The girl giggled, and Lou Ligon said, No, I must treat you to a midnight snack. What time will you get off work in the evening?" The girl's face turned red, and she felt coy for a while, then whispered to Lou Ligon, 12 o'clock. "Okay, I'll wait for you at the door." The girl nodded quickly, and Lou Ligon stood up and walked out, feeling relieved. He knew that his backup plan had been implemented, even though the girl looked a bit ordinary. Lou Ligon walked to the counter to pay, and the proprietress laughed when she saw him. "Did you fall in love with our technician and add so many extra hours?" Lou Ligon said seriously, "How is it possible? I like you. Lying there, all I dream about is you." The landlady's face turned red, she giggled, and reached out to hit Lou Li's pole. After Lou Ligon finished paying, the proprietress walked out of the counter and sent Lou Ligon to the door. She and Lou Ligon were so close that they were almost touching him. Lou Ligon thought to himself, "This can also be a record." However, there is a boss behind the boss lady, which is a bit troublesome. Lou Ligon wandered aimlessly until almost 6 o'clock when he walked downstairs to a KTV. Lou Ligon saw a restaurant nearby and walked in. He ordered a jar of meat and a spicy and sour fish head, a portion of matian tofu, a portion of stir-fried pig, and a portion of blood duck, a table full of dishes, plus 4 bottles of beer. He ate and drank slowly by himself. When it was almost 8 o'clock, Lou Ligon saw a lot of beautiful girls passing by with fresh makeup outside the gate. He felt that it was almost time, so he called the waiter to pay the bill. Next to the hotel is a branch of China Construction Bank, and beyond it is a 3-star hotel. The KTV is on the 3rd floor of the hotel. Lou Ligon went upstairs. As soon as the elevator door opened, a greeter came over and asked him if he had a reservation. Lou Ligon said no. "Who are the gentlemen?" the greeter asked. Lou Ligon stretched out a finger, and the guest was stunned for a moment, but soon he led Lou Ligon in with a smile on his face. The greeter led Lou Ligon to a private room with an open door, reached out and turned on the light, and asked, "Do you think this private room is okay, sir?" Lou Lepole nodded without even looking. Lou Ligon sat down on the sofa, and the guest asked, "Do you need to call me little sister now?" Lou Ligon said yes. The greeter retreated to the door and called into the corridor, "Mommy." After a while, Mommy led 6 girls in and stood in a row in front of Lou Ligon. Lou Ligon's heart moved. He saw that one of the girls was very beautiful and almost chose her. However, he still endured it and asked Mommy to change another batch. Lou Ligon watched them walk out. He seemed to hear the girl hum with some disdain. Lou Ligon understood her. He knew that with her condition, it would be rare for someone to be replaced. So I felt a little unsatisfied. Lou Ligon said in his heart, "Sister, I'm sorry, but this kind of thing is about eyesight. Although you are very beautiful, the lines on your face are stiff. I know you are already an old turtle." "What the hell? It's not good, I didn't even know I was sold by you, thank you." Mommy came in with the second group of girls, and Lou Ligon immediately chose one of them. This girl was not the most beautiful among this group of girls, and she was far different from the previous one, but she just let Lou Lepole looks comfortable, and the most important thing is to feel at ease. Mommy led the girl to sit down. The girl sat there a little awkwardly, with her feet together and her hands on her legs. Mommy arched her buttocks and pushed Lou Lepole towards the girl, and he turned around, took the girl's hand, and placed it on Lou Ligon's thigh. The girl blushed. Mommy poured wine into the glasses of all 3 people, hooked one hand around Lou Ligon's neck, drank a glass with them, then stood up and told the girl to serve well. The girl nodded vigorously. Mommy bent down and hooked her hands around Lou Ligon's neck, as if she wanted to kiss him. She leaned close to Lou Ligon's ear and bit his ear. "Handsome man, my little sister has just started working for a few days. Please take care of her." Lou Lepole nodded. Mommy reached out and touched Lou Ligon's face twice, then straightened up and left. As soon as Mommy left, the girl immediately retracted her hand, and Lou Ligon laughed. "Why, are you still afraid that I will eat you?" The girl was embarrassed and quickly shook her head and said, No, don't get me wrong." After hesitating for a while, he put his hand back on Lou Ligon's thigh, but only gently. "Okay, let me introduce myself first. My name is Lou Yang." "What's your name?" Lou Ligon asked. "Yan," the girl said. "Cheat me with a fake name," Lou Ligon asked. The girl's face turned red again, and she said, "They called me Yan." "My name is Deng Beiyi." "Just went to work?" Lou Ligon asked. The girl nodded and said honestly, "On the 3rd day, I was not ordered by any customers yesterday." "You are my second customer." Lou Ligon said, "Shall we go and request some songs?" Deng Beiyi said yes. Lou Ligon stood up and reached out to pull Deng Beiyi. She hesitated and took Lou Ligon's hand. The two held hands and went to the song booth to order songs. After ordering the songs, Deng Beiyi poured wine into their glasses. As soon as they raised their glasses, before they touched them, the prelude of An Yuxuan's If I Didn't Meet You That Day started playing. Getting up, Deng Beiyi shouted, my song, my song." She put down the cup, picked up the microphone, and sang, "On the last night of March, I don't know where the car is going. It's carrying my soft heart in the direction of my soft heart. It cuts through the streamlined light in the sky. Love has its wings stuck to sadness, in the playground where you disappeared." Lou Ligon shook his head and put down the cup. Deng Beiyi's voice was very nice and she sang very immersedly. When she sang, she seemed to have forgotten that there was someone beside her. When she finished singing, Lou Ligon clapped her hands, and she turned around as if she was just waking up from a dream. Lai smiled sweetly at him and said, "Thanks. Thank you for your monthly pass to Happy Woman and Hao Yuan Wang and Kanchan Shui. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life."